Yes, what is up, beautiful people? Welcome to How to Trade, formerly known as That Midday Show. That is your Calidera. And I'm Sharif, and we're going to wait for everyone to come on over from the other stream. We already have Rin in the chat with several emoticon question faces, to which Ram responded with multiple hee-hees. I really don't still understand that, but I'm willing to be educated.
I don't know what it means, but I'm excited to find out.
Oh, we're punning already, baby. Darwin, OG in the chat. What's up to you, Mr. Two Pams Hamster? One, Hell's Gate. Jesus, sounds a little ominous. Hold My Beer, Aaron and Joanna Brewster, Anurag, Market Sniper, Atif as well, Donnie Zimbabwe, Ponzi Fonzie, Luke Parent, Cesar Sandoval, and Jason Murphy gracing us with his presence. Ronaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, you're no longer in the Euro, you're out. Callum, Mitchell, Miller, Stock Up, Ken Wicken, Marjour, Tushar, and PC. Hello, personal computer. We also have T-Money and Borahat, and this week's best clips. I wonder if you made that account and then, like, you want to change the name. I think you could change the name. Shout out to John Szymanski and Christopher Holcomb, Jay Haas, and Boaz, all in the chat. Good morning there.
Good morning. How are you this fine morning, and how was your weekend?
It was good. I played tennis for the first time in a while.
One-on-one or doubles?
One-on-one.
Nice.
No, I don't really like doubles. It's a guys, we're talking on the two-shot. I don't like it as a team sport. I like it more as an individual sport. And I don't like those double lines. How about you?
My weekend was good. I was telling Sharif I went to a RV. We stayed in a trailer park. I did some jet skiing.
Hey.
I had a fun time. It was all good. Exciting times. Happy to be back here with these markets, which are always just deeply entertaining and giving you opportunities.
And especially if your ticker starts with a T and ends with an A. Let's get to the chart here, guys. What a move for Tesla and the Cybertruck company. 1 1/3 to the high side, 255. Just got breached there super quick, 254.81. Retracing now. Let's look at the highs that we printed on Friday. We are above that. 254 was the level. The line in the sand, the line in, I don't know, whatever, line in the sand, line in the Cybertruck, that we couldn't break through, but we've broken through today to the tune of 255 1/3, so keep your eye out on Tesla. Pivot point resistance level 1 at 255 3/4. Lots of weakness initially in Mag 7 world today. You'll see that down to the right for most of these names. However, there are a couple recovering as we speak. AAPL, GOOGL, all trying to work their way off lows. The counter is true, kind of, for Amazon, which has been range bound below that 200, saving except for that IB high that it printed at 201.20. Meta continuing to print lows after having one hell of a week last week, getting into all-time highs. We saw more all-time highs, sadly, in the pre, not after the bell, near that 245 level with META. But as I was just waxing poetic quickly there about AAPL, it's working its way up into 226, right below the 50 exponential on the 5. I am all eyes today on the short on AAPL. In fact, I like it so much. I do like it more, though, at that 226 1/3. Why? Because that is Friday's closing print. That is where we dipped right at 905, got bought back up quite aggressively. Some of the institutional prints also at near 8 a.m. were bouncing off that level. So it's not like I'm going to have a resting order waiting at 226 1/3. I need to see how it trades. There goes 226, and here comes the 50 exponential on the 5 as it makes its way into that red solid line on my chart. What do you have eyes on today, Dara?
Yeah, I'm doing a thing that I'm aware, I'm sure people saw this on the position board and we're like making faces, but I want to talk about it. I just took Tesla short, near high of day. I took 20 pennies on it. I'm really proud. I'm trusting the book scalps more. That's what we're doing today. I took 3 book scalps on Tesla. I've done both directions. First, we did a short here off that 253. What I said to Sharif was, I said, I love that top, flat top break at 253. I want to get to 254s, then come back down. I said to Sharif, if Tesla breaks below 253, I'm shorting it. I took 50 pennies on it.
Nice.
Then, thank you. I took like, I think 30 with half, 20, and then 50 with the rest of it. Then I go long to 53. I switch because I was really just watching to see things, I'm going to use an OBism here, that were distinctly different on the book. And in this case, what I was seeing was Tesla, the way we came back to this 253, we held it. So I said to Dara, start the position. I started at 253.30s because that was an area of resistance earlier that I said if we could hold that, I want to start the position there. Added at 253.20s. I was planning on adding more. We just didn't really get the opportunity to because it pushed higher. Obviously, I got out of this too early. I got out around 253.80s. We ended up getting to 255. So that's something where it's like, save your position a little bit longer. You don't need to. I think I sold some of this 20 pennies in the money. So try to be a little bit more scrupulous. Don't sell so quickly. But I'm really pleased this punch here with this Tesla. I will probably be sticking to book scalping this one for the majority of the day. But I still have my eye on my old standards, my AMD, my NVDA. IBIT, I see you. IBIT, just given what happened with Bitcoin, I wanted to keep an eye on it. We are an eye on IBIT. We're below VWAP. This could be interesting, but right now I'm really just going to be focused on my Tesla.
All right, I want to shout out my man, Adam DeLuce. England did not lose, Adam, on whatever day it was that they played there. I think it was Saturday. I'm just everything's blurred. Shout out to you guys. Tuesday we go again. So shout out to my man Adam. Obviously one of my footy brothers there in the chat. Let's get to the lesson du jour though. We're talking about Elliott wave theory all week. Guys, this is more of an advanced concept that really, it's kind of harder to apply intraday, but it is quite important. If you can use it fractally, if you figure out a way to use it fractally, I think you can really add a really good arrow to your quiver there for trading. So let's get right down to it. Have you ever felt like the market may move in a predictable yet dynamic way? Elliott wave theory proposes that these movements follow a specific pattern. They're called the 5 waves. So let's get right to them and explain exactly what 5 waves are. The first 3 waves, waves 1, 3, and 5, all you need to know about what these waves are called is they're impulse waves. We'll get to it, what they look like in a second. These are the driving force behind the trend. They essentially are responsible for pushing the price higher in the desired direction. The desired direction obviously depends on whether you're going long or short. So wave 1 is the initial move, right? It establishes the trend's direction, whether up or down. It can be quite a volatile time, that initial wave, wave 1, setting the stage, though, for those bigger moves. And you'll see that I'm jumping from wave 1 to wave 3 because we're going to talk about the bullish wave or the directional waves, the main trend waves, and then we'll talk about waves 2 and 4 in a sec. These are the retracement waves. So wave 3, the strongest of the waves, says the textbook, often the most significant for trading opportunities due to both its length and power. By virtue of that definition, you can draw an inference here that wave 3 longer and more aggressive than wave 1. However, wave 1 more volatile than wave 3. Wave 5, the final thrust, so to speak, extending the trend before either a period of consolidation or a retracement. So this is the final move up kind of thing. Now, this is kind of what they look like. You'll see this is obviously a very rudimentary explanation, but the reason I showed it to you in this way is to identify the wave. So wave 1 will typically be smaller than wave 3. Wave 2 will not typically retrace all the way back to wave 1. Neither will wave 4. So wave 4, the retracement wave, won't get to the initiation spot of wave 3. If it does, maybe you are not looking at the right thing. And then wave 5. So for today's purposes, we're talking about 1, 2, 3, and 4, and 5. We are not going to talk about waves A, B, and C. That is for a different lesson, and that is the end of the trend, the reversal of the trend. And here's how it kind of looks like if you were to pull up a chart on TradingView, kind of similar to this. Obviously, not as neatly put as some of these, more cleaner images. And here it is again, basically with this is a bit more nuanced, right? Because when we get to intermediate waves within the larger waves, we'll get to that in another lesson. So I just want to point out, this is kind of how we should be looking at it, right? Now, waves 2 and 4, these are called the consolidation and the correction waves, right? So waves 2 and 4 are corrective waves. These are periods of price retracement that moves against the trend. That's all you really need to know, that they are against the trend. And as I'm looking, I'm seeing Apple move into break even. So guys, be careful here because this is kind of a make or break time here for Apple as it tries to go break even. Wave 4, it's a smaller retracement after the more powerful wave 3. Again, wave 3, the most powerful of the waves of wave 1 to from 1s 3 and 5. Wave 3, the strongest, usually ending near the point of wave 3. That is wave 4. So here are the corrective waves. You have that initial move up. Wave 2 is a corrective wave. Wave 4 is a corrective wave. And then you get subwaves within the actual waves. And that's what we're going to talk about in the coming days. But just very straightforward. Wave 1, the initiator. 2 is a retracement. 3, the biggest of the bunch. 4 doesn't retrace down to 3. And 5 finishes it all. Okay? Remember, guys, this is a simplified view as well. I just want to point that out. The waves can vary in size. They can vary in time. And there are additional rules and complexity to Elliott wave theory. We're trying to give you the most rudimentary explanation. Let's get started here. How do we actually use them? Now that you know like the basic structure of these waves, 1 to 5, here's how to practice it. And that's all we're going to do. We can't use them because we don't know enough about them, but we can try to practice IDing them on the chart. I think that that should be your first step here. So you're going to look for a chart, look for the instrument in question that you see trending. First of all, you need to find something that is trending, because wave theory is basically telling you that there's a trend, whether higher or lower, whether bull or bear. Okay, so you're going to find an instrument, find the chart, look at the historical price action of that specific instrument, and then you're going to try to identify a trend. Well, what's the trend here? Is it up or is it down? Is it bullish or is it bearish? That's easy to do. And then number 3, you're going to look for the 5 waves within that bullish or bearish trend. Are you able, can you visually identify the characteristics of each wave based on our discussion? Chances are, if you're just looking at it for the first time, it's not going to be so easy. This is really an acquired skill here to be able to ID these waves, because they vary in size and length so much between one instrument to the other. So a lot harder to do IRL than in some book. And a bonus tip here, guys, the 5-wave pattern applies to different time frames. You can see it on the 1, you can see it on the hourly. It's fractal, right? So from daily charts to intraday. However, shorter time frames can be more volatile, making wave identification more challenging. It also increases in its failure rate. So the lower you go down on the time frame, so from say the 4-hour into the 1-minute or the 5-minute, the higher the failure rate for your analysis is. So the higher up the time frame you see it, the better it is. And the 15-minute, this 15-minute intro it just helps you delve a little deeper into the topic. We'll get more nuanced with it as the week goes on.
Yeah, and I think it's so cool because it really does show you there's like a cycle of life to the markets. Like you have your little moves up and things, unless you're like, say, Nvidia in April, things usually move a little bit more in, we have these patterns, we have these ebbs and flows. So I think it's a pretty interesting look there for sure. Also, it's like what Sharif sometimes says, the change in the tide. Yeah. We have that. But you have to be careful when tides change that you don't get rinsed. It's the new button, Sharif.
What is that?
Rinsed.
Oh, that's nice.
We got it yesterday. Yeah, we got it, not yesterday, we got it on Friday. And I was like, I'm going to surprise Sharif with it. So I can give you the code for it later, but there we go. Trying not to get rinsed, that's what we're always trying to do with these markets.
I don't know, I thought maybe we would someone be like, yeah, maybe it's a little too graphic. I'll keep that idea to myself.
Okay, but also another button to push here is the vote button. If you would like to see Sharif and Obi and Sean with their Obi-Confidence and their Sean-Confidence talking about some stocks, definitely go there in the chat and vote for whatever ticker you fancy, whatever tickers you fancy. Exclamation point, join, space, $, Tesla, Nvidia, Google, Amazon, Microsoft, Apple, what have you. Get in there, get involved. That's what you got to do. Also, Apple, not what I often trade, but I'm seeing a little bit of a caramel apple spice here in what we've got. Shout out to the old Starbucks drink, because we have this little 22640 area. I do not mind at all. However, my heart right now belongs to Tesla. I continue to kind of short these pops here. Right now, profitable in all these trades. Again, things can always change, so I don't want to stick to that by any means. Taking responsible sizes, the more confident I feel in a trade, the more times we've retested a level, the more size I'm taking. That's what I'm trying to do here on my TSLA. These are pretty much purely book scalps. I've noticed when we get to these whole dollar levels at Tesla, it gives you some opportunities. I should have played that 256 short. I didn't at the new high of day, but I've also noticed too, we get to a new high of day, then we come down, and once we press above it, we use it as support. That 255.30, which is our previous high of day, we bounced off that beautifully. So I'm going to be looking at previous highs of days for these Tesla scalps. Also, Nvidia, my old friend here, rejecting at 128 in a way that I find deeply interesting. Look at these 90 MA rejections. We also have here this 128 forming his previous support a couple times. So this might be a short for me in Nvidia. How are you doing?
Good, good. Let's have a look at the names that are moving right now. So great look up today for Tesla, as Dara mentioned. 256.16, it is at now resistance level 1 on the pivots, putting a couple of topping tails. It did that initially too with 253, so I don't want to be too quick to stand in front of this one, but I definitely like any rejection off this level. We'll have to keep an eye out. I definitely also like it possibly at a 253 dip. That's the top end of the flag. If you're looking at closing prints, obviously the wicks do make it north of 254. That is the IB high there at 10 a.m. So we got into that 254.10. So we'll see what we get with Tesla. I do like some other names, though. There are some good small cap gappers, so I'll get to those. The biggest one on my list is VRPX. Great move up today into $1.36 at the 10 exponential on the 5 right now. And by that, I'm talking about the 10 exponential moving average on the 5-minute chart, okay? So in case you're wondering what I'm saying, it's at that 114 VWAP though, 105, and I like that level a little bit better. Why? Because that 940 topping tail candle got into $1.04, and VWAP is at $1.05. So that to me signals two different markers pointing at support at that $1.04, $1.05. I could definitely be persuaded to get long on this name if I see what I like. Nikola, wow, what a move up for Nikola today. 27.5 more, almost 28%, a lot higher at the highs. I can't believe this thing actually has a decent day like this after that post-split era, because they had to get back into compliance there with said NASDAQ. But anyway, we closed out the day on Friday at $8.99. Today, we almost got to 12, $11.94 HOD. The retracements have been all love for that 10 exponential on the 5. Every single closing print on the 5-minute chart has been above that 10 exponential on that retracement. Look for that 1150 flat top. Right now, there seems to be a seller. Haven't looked at the book, but I don't need to. I can see that there's a seller on the chart there at 1150. So keep your eye out that on Nikola. MYO, another decent one, a little bit lower on volume, breaking down below VWAP right now, but trying to hold above the 20 exponential on the 5. This one looks like a rounded top, and if I had to guess, this probably retraces. Maybe I'll ask like a Tina man how much shorts will cost me on MYO. Up decent though, 27.5% on the day. ZAPP, this one was zapping its way into my scanner on Friday, and multiple days before that. You can see I have the ticker for it back on July the 2nd. So ZAPP has been a multi-day play. Once, twice, OB thrice on Friday, and then even more today as it makes another local high at 8.25. That was in the pre. However, if you know how I trade these small cap gappers, you know that I don't like taking them as a breakout trade south of VWAP, as well as if they haven't broken their pre-market high. So pre-market high is 8 1/3 right now. We're printing 6 3/4, so this one will have to get above 8 1/4, 8 1/3 for me to get interested as a breakout trade. That doesn't mean you can't trade it as a range, because right now there seems to be a buyer at around 6.5, and there has been since around 8:10 this morning. Only this print over here, these two candles at 940 and 935 broke down below that level when it halted down, but that is the IB low. MYO, Katina, man, how much I'm gonna cost me? Thank you. I appreciate you looking there. So MYO there, and then KOSS. KOSS was a monster from Friday and multiple days, because the Catman, was trying to insinuate things on his Twitter, but KOSS taking a bit of a breather to the downside today. We closed at about 13 1/3 on Friday. Now the low of day 9.5, but there does seem to be bottoming tail candles at 9.5. This is quite indicative of buyers overwhelming sellers at that specific level. But don't put too much stock. Now, I really want to show this. Don't put too much stock into these bottoming tail candles, because you're still below the 10 exponential. You're below the 20 exponential. Nothing's really changed. In fact, you haven't made any higher highs. So it looks great, but look for more confirmation. Looks like there is a buyer at around 9.5 on KOSS. And last but certainly not least, ANVS, another good look. This one was a multi-day runner last week as well, having another decent day, double top off 14.5, breaking down below VWAP now at 13 and change. But for whatever reason, respecting the 20 exponential on the 5. So I'll have to see. How much did those cost, by the way? 1/10 of a cent. Shout out to Real Trading. That's the only way that MYO would cost me 1/10 of a cent. First of all, I can't even short MYO on my brokerage. No shorts available. That's number one. Number two, if I was to look for shorts, it would have to be a ridiculous amount that I don't want to get into. So shout out to Real Trading, the best prop floor in the world.
Woo.
What do we got there, Katina,
NVDA.
man? Dollar Club Palantir, Dollar Club Nvidia, CATENA. That is not a ticker, that is a Katina, man. New position, Amazon. 199.50, guys.
Yeah, pardon?
Walk time, walk and talk time, says the Katina man.
Yeah, Sean is going to become the new Amazonian over there. I want to shout out, all jokes aside, shout out to Obi, had some trades on Amazon as well this morning, so shout out. Tesla, I needed to be more aggressive with this. I kept saying Tesla has been basically using these previous highs of days as support. So what does it do? We make a new high of day. Where do we bounce? That's right, our previous high of day. I have 2 orders set here, 256.10 to start the position, but I'm going to be adding the real size here just below 256. We made higher lows here. I tried to get involved 255.50s because I like that bounce. I was not aggressive enough. Tesla did not let me in that Cybertruck. It closed the door on me. Shout out to Jerome Powell, who will be speaking tomorrow for his semi-annual testimony, so shout out to that. But basically, TSLA was just unfortunately, and I would say unfortunately, it's unfortunate because I wasn't confident enough. I should have had my 55 bids. I basically started, I would chase this like 5 pennies because we make slightly higher lows. Not too chasey. I initially wanted to get involved at 50s. By the time I couldn't get 65s, I was like, you know what, you're not getting it. It's okay. I don't want to cancel my order, but I do think it's very fishy what Tesla's doing here at 256.50s. If I see us make a decisively lower low here on the book, and by that I mean like 255, anything below 255.80s, that would be pretty sus for me. We're gonna have to keep an eye out and watch. I do not know if Tesla wants me in that Cybertruck right now, but I will wait patiently, and I'm really proud of the trading I've been doing today because I've just been patient, trying not to chase opportunities, and trying to find things that make sense. I'm gonna cancel these orders for now because I do wanna look at some, we're gonna break to 257, and I also wanna look at some stuff for people, including Kanye East asking about Kava. See if we can munch on that Kava. I know Kava has been compared to like the Greek version of Chipotle. I was reading this really interesting note. So it was an analyst from, I think, Wedbush. Apparently, this was like going around X. So this analyst had a whole bunch of Chipotle bowls, or I think burritos, and they were so inconsistently sized. The weights were different. It was, so Chipotle, I guess, I don't know, I was thinking about that weird Chipotle inconsistency in the burrito sizing, but Kava, not inconsistent here to the upside. We do have a little bit of this topsy-turvy pattern, higher lows here, higher highs, and not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 green candles right now. Great strength here. Let's take a look at that daily chart for Kava. It's a great look on the day here, Kanye East. I'm not sure about, maybe we could have some rotation out of CMG. We know CMG has been selling off since we had those that split. But I think, right now, Kava has been a great look since the earnings. Shout out to, we had Mike on the show a while back here. I think from Vantage, Sean and I had him on the market recap, and he was talking about Kava. He's a fan of Kava. People like the food, and I think people clearly like that stock. Because if you look here, I think this is a great bounce. We had this 68 area, a little bit of a top earlier. Then we come back, retest it here May 6th, push even higher. Higher highs, higher lows. Yeah, honestly, for me, for Kava, I would say there's certainly a lot to chew on there to the upside. Seems like buyers are chewing on the opportunity to get involved in this here name. Also, my last thought on Tesla, because I don't want to discuss this all day, though I know I will. Tesla, the way we had that new break of high of day at 256.30, or 256.10, it wasn't the same as other high of day breaks we've had. Every time we've broken high of day in Tesla since then that I've seen, we pop at least $1 or $2. Tesla this time popped 50 cents. There could be a little bit of heat leaving the Cybertruck. If we reject that 256.10 previous high of day, I'm taking that thing short. How are you doing?
Come on, heat? I thought you said you're getting a little bit of power leaving the Cybertruck.
That's way better. I know, right? I guess the pun game isn't as strong as it could be today.
You're too busy taking those profits. No, but yeah, I like that. That sounds good there. We'll keep an eye on TSLA. We'll shout out there for fantastic trades, not letting Tesla off the hook. They are pinned in the corner until extracted all said profits. Apple trying to do the dance here with 226. I'm unsure how to play this here. I got to be honest with you. I was looking for a possible short on Apple at 226 and a third. It weaseled its way up into that 80 penny level, 75 penny level. So 226 and 3/4. This is not my level, but I do see that there was a consolidation area bottom in the pre, generally around 227. So maybe I have to pack my patience to the whole dollar level before I can get my short. Maybe I can get it earlier. I don't know. We'll see. Bit of a V-shaped retracement here for the dead one, and it's certainly not dead today, and it hasn't been dead lately. We're just joking when we call it the dead one. A holdover from when it was dead, but alas, it has now awoken. Anyway, I'm short at 362 on MYO. I'm very interested in shorting into that 370 as well. It's printed 363, so we're $1 out of the money on this. The reason I'm getting short on this, it did a bit of a rounded top. Anybody who watches Michael Moss on Monday and Fridays on the morning show knows how much he loves shorting rounded tops and longing rounded bottoms. So I'm trying to weasel my way into this, but you know, you're not going to get the best price initially offhand. At least I won't. So I'm looking to plan my DCA dollar cost average into the volume weighted average price. A new high above that 375 level gets me out. So quite frankly, if it doesn't break down and it starts playing the range, I'll play it as a range or whatever. I may not even trade it. Right now, though, it's going to have to reject 370 and stay below 375 for me to stay in this short. MYO, the Katina man was nice enough to get me those shorts. ANVIS, ANVS, though, finding a whole bunch of support at 13. Now, you don't see that on a closing basis, but what you do see it as, these wicks are quite indicative that there is a buyer of note, of strength, buying at 13. And then the higher lows are also quite indicative as well of the buyer exuberance, you know, basically overwhelming sellers on every successive trough. The trough that we have to base off the analysis, to start off the analysis at 950 trough, right there. It dips into $12, holds up. Then the successive trough after that, at 1030, holds up at 1250. Then the third trough off which I'm basing my analysis, 1281, and there it goes to the high side again. So this one holding 13, now printing 1350s. Alas, there does seem to be a bit of a range despite these higher lows. 1350 to 1375, there does seem to be a bit of a seller, and you can see that one take a bit of a flush off that $0.50, come back into that $0.25. So the range still intact on ANVS, but I'm very cognizant of these higher lows, right? Because eventually, you know, that may mean that we basically break through that 1375 top. So keeping an eye on that. I really don't have a read yet on any of these Mag 7 names. I'm going to pack my patience today, working my way into the trade. We'll start off with the short on MYO.
I like that. Hopefully MYO, you make it your own. It looks like my own to me, so I hope you make that trade your own. Well, I'm tired. The puns are not there yet. Tesla took two shorts. One was not profitable. The other one was. Now the issue is, and I've done this before because I like my ranges, but lately I've gotten into breakdown trades. There's sometimes when things are just ranging. It's like Adara, respect that it's ranging until it tells you it's not. Right now, Tesla ranging between 256 and 256.50s. I got out when we got above 50s. It's all good there. Then I got back in when I realized I was like, hey, Dara, just play the range. Got involved there. 256.30s, took it to 256.10s. Please as dang punch, as Sharif will sometimes say. So there we go. Tesla, though, definitely making lower highs here. This is where I think I need to restart the short, just building very slowly. We're gonna start here just at every level that I found interesting because we are making these lower highs. We're gonna start building here. If we reject this 256.40s again, that's where we're gonna start the short, taking pieces out as we break below. I'm down. Let's see if we are able to get filled here on this T to the S to the L to the A because I am seeing lower highs in the book and I wanna respect that. Anything can go against you, but if you believe in it, if you're seeing things that not confirm that, then you owe it to yourself to use that confluence and get involved. So really, I just want to be adding here as I continue to see these lower highs. We're going to add a little bit at 30s as well. I'm going to be taking out as we get to every touch of that 256. Let's do 256.05s, taking out 40% of the position. I like this. I've planned this. I'm playing it more appropriately than I did before. I know I'm short Tesla. I'm aware of the optics of that with Tesla being up so high. And I did have some longs on Tesla earlier. But right now what I'm seeing in the book is not really giving me any confidence or confidence in the long. And I like it as a short. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. If we break above that 256.60s with that viciousness, I'll leave. And it looks like we're trying to do that right now. But I'm happy I tried it. RIP my Tesla trade. How are you doing?
Good. Okay. So futures high a day right now, 20,677, as we printed a double top there. So be careful with the future as we get into those levels again. But great look today on the future. We're above Friday's high as well. So blue sky setup at this level. The Friday high was where we kind of rejected off the IB high. So that 20,650, that's come and gone though, as we've cleared that by some distance. Tesla continuing to go to the high side, 257.10 new high a day. I'm looking at the future and I'm looking at the Mag 7 names, and nothing is at high a day except Tesla. But the future is at high a day. So I'm like, where is this coming from? So I'm looking for other items that could be influencing the NQ, and you don't need to look far. You just need to look at the chips. The chips are all green. Every single microchip semiconductor name on my watch list is in Greensville and over 1%. So that's probably where the future is getting its strength right now. And as I look at the ES, are we getting participation from the ES? The ES is not even close to day's high. It's about 10 points off the day high right now, while we just printed the NASDAQ data. So that tells me that we're very tech-centric, and you can even narrow it down a little bit more by saying we're chip-centric today. So keeping an eye on that to see where the strength on these here markets are coming in. Apple right back down into 226 and a third, 226 and a quarter. This is the level I want to see what we do at. Is it a failed break of Friday's close, or do we clear Friday's close and now we use that level as support? Questions unanswered. Gonna pack my patience. I'm in absolutely no rush to trade today. I've got a gnarly, let's call it tiredness from the weekend. I was gonna say something else, but yeah, I don't want to. So I'm gonna absolutely take my patience today trading. Nvidia. Who was asking me about Nvidia earlier? Paula Beckford says, talk about Nvidia. How could I not take you up on that, Paula? Ram, 130.77 HOD on NVDA, and I love the fact that it dipped down all the way to that pre-market consolidation area top. You saw there in the pre from around, say, 710 to that 905 print. We had been dancing with 127 from the south side, and then at 10:55, we come back and we hold 127 to the dang T. In fact, 127.04 is the low of day, though, Paula. Right now, we're above VWAP. But look, Paula, we're really not clearing VWAP with any vigor. I would say wait to see exactly how this resolves. Are we going to topping tail through VWAP and then curl back down to make sure to retest 127? Or is this a consolidation area before we retake that 129 level on a closing basis? We already saw that once we broke down below 129, we had trouble reclaiming it here. These topping tail candles are indicative of that. So three candles of indecision right now on Nvidia on the 5-minute chart, all below the volume weighted average price, showing you that there is a bit of tug of war happening between buyers and sellers there. But who can complain about how Nvidia looked today? $130 again to the high side. Nothing to complain about there. All right, let's see what we're doing with MYO, because that's a trade. We're a whole, we're a gnarly, a cool, a deep 2 pennies in the money on MYO. And I might just take it all right here, Adara. You know what I mean? I'm ready to go home. 2 pennies in the money here. We'll see what we get.
Get that MYO money. Woo, woo, woo. Yeah, Tesla, I had a long here. I got out too early. I did not like we were doing a 257 like at all. I wanted to give it to a new high of day, but what we did was we get to 257. So our previous high of day, 257.10s, right? 257.11, drop. 257.12, drop. 257.13, drop. I said, Adara, you're going to lose your mind. I took out part of the position I already taken out part of the position at 257, took out the rest at 257, so 30 pennies in the money here for T to the S to the L to the A. But like, Tesla's been, and the reason I got involved where I did as well is because, like I said, Tesla's been really great at holding those previous highest days as support. The previous high day before that 257.10 was going to be 256.60. So that's what I used here as support. Now look, we're getting back to 257.10. Do I see a bounce? No, I don't. So I'm going to have to wait and watch. But I'm very curious here. I'll continue to play Tesla in either direction. Nvidia pushing down a little bit here. Can you talk about PLTR, says Anas? Yeah, I mean, I'm not the Palantir whisperer. That's going to be our friend Sean, who is currently on his walk. But let's take a look at P to the L to the T to the R. This is an interesting one. Higher highs, higher lows here. But Palantir is fascinating to me, 27.85. Why, you may ask? Look at this base we had earlier. When we come to 27.85, we have a massive topping tail candle. So this, to me, is resistance and support, doing a bit of a flip-flop. But we are still holding higher lows. We're still watching the 90 EMA. I would say if we reject 27.85 again, there's a couple things you can watch out for. There could be a double top, a little bit of a flip, but there also could maybe be a flat top break. So that could be a nice look here as well. Kids Munting saying, take a look at INTC. Yeah, let's see if we have any intel here on Intel. Let's see what we do here on I to the N to the T to the C. Ooh, flat bottom break.
Ooh, share pushback number 1.
This is the first of the day, yes. Look at these lower highs here. Oh, Intel had a range earlier too. Look at this, Sharif. 33.60 to 33.43.
Dang.
Missed that, because then we flat bottom broke. Now we'll be watching to see what Intel does here if we get back to 33.35s. Why, you may ask? That was kind of near where we opened in the pre. That's also near where we had a little bit of a bounce here around 10.05. So Intel, if we reject 33.35, you could be a really interesting look here on this here market. Slugga 214 saying YOLO plus FOMO equals Tesla. Cannot really disagree with that analysis there. Yeah, that's an interesting look here. Now Tesla, though, bouncing below 257. If we do reject 257 again, I might do a scalp short, but I want to be really cognizant here, see how we're shaking on these markets. I don't want to rush into it. Like I said, I think this whole strategy of going long at the previous high of day if we hold support has worked out. So that could work as well. I'll be watching.
All right, we just took 15 pennies super quick on Apple. I'm going to hold this one and see if we can test 227. I'm seeing a bunch of bottoming tail candles on the 5 that showing you that people are buying it off Friday's closing print. Friday's closing print, at least the way I've charted, is 260. Sorry, maybe that's what I want it to be, 260. 226.33. We got long at 44s, took profit out at 60. So we'll see if we can weasel our way up into 2770. I'm going to pack my patience with this one. The MYO trade lulling me to sleep, but that's okay. I kind of had a feeling it would do that. You can kind of look at the price action on the bars. You don't even need to look at the volume. I can just tell you how much volume it's doing by looking at the chart, and it's sparsely traded. However, I like the fact that we're continuing to make those lower highs and lower lows. I think I may, be able to eke out some profits here on this short. The Katina man was able to secure me shorts on MYL. Let me give you the deets on this monster over here. Monster, I say that obviously tongue-in-cheek. $103.75 million market cap, 2 2/3 million shares done on the day, and the float, a decent 23.5 million shares, so not bad. Let's bring down trade ideas, shout out the NOS boss and his crew, and find out what MYO has in terms of a short. Well, 4.5%, nothing to sneeze at there. So 23.5 million shares, 4.5% of the short, sorry, what was that, Ram?
When you said nothing to sneeze at, she went, achoo.
Achoo, okay. Ram, I gotta do the read. Totally forgot about that. So I'll do that in 1 second. Can I send it to you, please? What?
At 51, apparently.
50, oh, it's not 21? Okay, my bad. All right, we'll hold off on that then. What was I gonna say here? I had something else to say. Yes, MYO, with respect to the short float. So decent short float there for MYO. It could squeeze, but so far I'm not really seeing anything to weasel me out of this trade. So we're gonna pack our patience. We're a nice 2 pennies in the money right now, baby. Nothing. I'm ready to take it all. All right, let's see what else is moving. The Cybertruck is on the way up, and by the way, guys, yeah. Let me just tell you that the shorts got blown out for a nice $3.5 billion on this one last week, and we'll see if they can get blown out for some more this week, because this thing is on the way up. I think we probably touched 260 on the day, 257.88 HOD. It hasn't touched the 10 exponential since 10:50 a.m. We're going on 50 minutes. Nothing's been touched here. So fantastic look for the longs today on TSLA as they continue to print. And I want to tell you something else, that I had a decent data point on this one. Yes, Tesla, the percentage of the float that is now short is the highest it's been since 2021, I believe. Let me see if I can get that data point for you guys there. But yeah, it was this morning actually. I was looking at it to see how big the short float was on this one. Yeah, I can't really find it right now, but I'll keep an eye out for it. But in any event, we're printing here on Apple. We're nicely 30 pennies in the money now, but I'm greedy. I'm going to continue to wait.
Yeah, hopefully you get a nice bite of that apple there on those profits. I am still in Tesla. I am pleased as punch. I flipped long. Honestly, you know, and if I see something different, of course I'll take advantage of that. But right now, the whole Tesla bouncing off previous high of day, that's been working. If Tesla keeps breaking new high of days, I'll keep an eye on that. Basically what I'm doing is I'm watching for every salient, significant high of day. I was going to say, I love that word. Every salient high of day break, I've been keeping an eye on, I've been using as previous support. So I added to this position here. I should have had a large position to begin with. At 51s here, we're going to, you know, Tesla, if you want to go higher, I'll keep you in here. Oh my gosh, Tesla, do you want to break into 50s? I don't know if you do. I'll take you out here. 90 pennies on Tesla. There's a really small remainder of that position. Wow, am I proud. I was able to flip there to the long from the short. Tesla, the last high of day break we had significantly had here was 257.70. So you know I'll be watching that to hold for support. Sorry for the being a little bit out of breath there. The Tesla just continuing to push here to the upside. Nvidia getting kind of spicy as well. Nvidia, not a pushback, but darn, we got close. Look at this rejection of VWAP. Higher lows. If we push up a little head above VWAP, that could be a great look. I'm not really sure how I feel about this one directionally yet, so I'm going to keep an eye on it. SPY pushing a little bit lower. The itsy bitsy spider climbing down the spout. Shout out to Obi who's made that pun in the past there. I like to give credit to puns. I don't want to do any pun plagiarism. But yeah, here, this SPY, levels are not always going to matter on the SPY, but I think this can certainly be an interesting look here. At times, this 555 base, we're coming back into it here. Sorry, 555.10. If we reject this, I will totally scalp this short. I am qualmless. Gaurav saying Nike's been a great short today, breaking from its recent earnings low. Let's take a look there at Nike, see how that one's running. Is it running up? Is it running down? Is it running in place? Oh, Nike's jogging to the downside here, down about 3% at lows of days. Flat bottom break. We actually two bear flicks. We have one here, also kind of manifesting as a flat bottom break. We reject that 90 MA, break below that 74 is like it ain't a thing. Then we come back, another bear flag, another flat bottom break here, 73.40s. You know, Nike, you go on my side chart for that. I want to see what you do here. It's not the type of name I trade a lot, but the spread isn't bad. We're talking 1 penny. Of course, I really cannot complain about that. So Nike, you go on the esteemed side chart, and I'm going to keep an eye on that. Also, AMD, maybe trying to double bottom. I'll pull up the chart to see what I'm kind of talking about here. AMD is hanging out here. Let's see if we bounce off 173.60. This could be potentially an interesting look here for AMD.
All right, our Apple trade is done probably a little bit too soon as we took everything out at 80s and it continued to weasel its way up. So looks like it's maybe on its way to 227 here with these two kind of doji candles showing up at VWAP. And doji candle placement is important as well. If it shows up, not VWAP, sorry, Friday's closing print at 226 and a third. And candle placement is important. Remember how we were talking last week about where you see the MACD crossover between the MACD line and the signal line? And if you see the MACD crossover at support, then it kind of adds that other check mark. So you get the crossover, which is bullish. You also get the bounce off support, which is bullish. So I think the same thing, Ram, is true for some of these doji candles where they show up. So if you're seeing these doji candles at an area that you've ID'd as support, and I certainly did there, given that we had bounced off there in the pre-market at 8:15, again at 9:05. It was an area bottom, and he showed that it was a top basically because we were wicking through it and rejecting it. So interesting look here on AAPL. Wasn't able to take the full boat, so to speak, but was able to scalp some decent amounts here. So keeping an eye on that. Also, I want to let you know that goggles is right back above 190 again. It's still negative on the day, but with a lot of these Mag 7 names, it's really retracing decent here. 190 coming in to view right now. Be careful with this level. We know it's the $10 level, the whole dollar level. It's also got an area top here. The IB high is at this 190 area. The closing print, that is. It did weasel its way up into 190 and 2/3, but that was a quick wham bam thank you at 925. So the IB high, my humble estimation, is at 190 because that is the 930 candle, not the 925 candle. So keeping an eye on goggles as well there. Let's flip back to see what MYO is doing. We're still 2 pennies in the money. Nothing really to write home about there. It's going to have to break through that 60 penny area. Tesla did get a bit of a possible, catch a breather here, 259.09, and then it retraces back down into the mid 258s. I'm still thinking that 260 level is where we're going to hit today, just given the overall strength of this. The shorts are just getting blasted today, it looks like, on TSLA, and happier I could not be. Okay, this is Tesla's daily chart, and I know Neil's not here, but Tesla broke out of the downward channel that we have been in since basically the Jerome Powell highs of November 2021. Let me remove the pivot points here so you guys can see this a little bit clearer. But this is very interesting here on TSLA. So this is a downward channel, and we had basically been respecting this channel, save and except for that January 2023 dip when we really dropped down on Tesla. We were able to reclaim those levels quite quickly and then respected the downward channel. And the higher channel has been more respected, I would say, than the lower channel. And there you go. The breach has come, and it's come on a closing basis. I just wonder if it's one of these outlying events like we got in late 2022, early 2023. Because the channel, other than that, it hasn't been breached. So really, really interesting look here on TSLA. And I gotta tell you, I put this comment on a Yahoo Finance post on Instagram, and I was talking about this area right here on Tesla. And I said inverse head and shoulders question mark. And then I started a storm on that little post there because everybody and their mother's cousin was chiming in, from like the ineffectiveness of technical analysis to your confirmation bias. I'm a Tesla bull. It's like, you guys don't even know me. You know I'm a Tesla bull. You know I'm not short Tesla. I'm obviously not short Tesla. We've got a small position in the long-term account. This is like the 5th largest position that I've got in my account, nowhere near PanW and Apple.
Yeah, no, that's I'm happy you had a Pan W on that Tesla though, so nice look there. Also, that is unfortunate that people were beefing with you about Tesla.
They weren't beefing
on Yahoo, or they're just being salty.
Everyone's just talking.
It's just how things go. Yeah, that's how people are on this here internet. I am so tempted to short Tesla, and it's like, what's stopping me? I think what's stopping me is just the fact that Tesla's been so strong, but I'm seeing lower highs here on the book. We got to 258.30. Now we just got 258.20. Now we're trying to push higher again, so I mean, I think that makes sense. But I think if I played this as a range, like 258.30 into 257.80, that could be the look. As I say that, Tesla's getting a bit of a doji, so I'm going to hold back until I see a little bit more confirmation for this short. If Tesla continues bouncing off these 258.30s, if we flip from resistance to support, you guys know I'll take it long. I am qualmless. I have not a qualm. Can you look at Enphase? Says Anas, yeah, Enphase. I know I was this one, or was it? It was one of these solar names here got nice pop this morning. So, okay, and not a pushback, but a nice look here. Higher lows here, bouncing off view up for ENPH. Higher highs, higher lows here, but lots of rejection at 101.80. We wick into 102.20, then we make some lower highs here with wicks before bouncing off view up. Odyssey Fight saying trend is your friend. I appreciate that, but I think sometimes too, it's like depending on how you trade, right? I am not necessarily a trend trader. I like to do some book scalps, and those have worked out. Again, they're not always gonna work out, but I find as I've been trying to trust that more, I've had some success with that as well, right? So, of course, for these longer trades, a lot of these trades I was in for a longer period of time, pun intended, were in fact longs. So it's like, that's what the trend, right? If I'm gonna do my scalps, to me, it's gonna really be about what I'm seeing. If I'm seeing anything distinctly different, in the book to justify a short, because I think I'm saying this different, but I mean this in all seriousness. If I see something different, I do owe it to myself to attempt those trades, especially as I'm trying to be a little bit more of a tape and book scalper. Tesla right now, I still see as in a range between 258.30 to 257.80s. To me, that's the shorter term trend. Of course, I do respect the whole overall long thesis, but I think for shorter term trades, for scalping, if I have that in mind, if I have risk management, I don't mind being a little bit funky with it. And hey, you want to keep projecting 258.10s Tesla? Don't mind if I do. I'll start building that position there. I don't think I'll get it. I think we're breaking too low, but you got to try what you got to do. You got to make attempts. One quote that Sean put once on Twitter that I have written on my little notes that I look at every day for my trading notes is, in order to make money, you must attempt ideas. We're gonna make an attempt. We'll see how it goes. Yeah. What else are people looking at? Amazon not recovering 200 plus, says Kids Munting. Let's take a look at A to the M to the Z to the N. Oh yeah. Oh.
2.
I like that you count. You need a pushback counter. I like that Amazon here holding that 199.50 to what this 200 range. I like this 50 penny range. Shout out to Obi for getting long. I think 199.50. That's a crazy entry on AMZN. So awesome look there for the zone, as Sharif will sometimes call it. So right now I'm in the zone with this Tesla. We're gonna get ready to take some out here at 80s, then add back in if need be. Do my little scalpy thing. 21. We'll have to see if this goes. Got out part of this position. Come on, Tesla, how low could you go? But we now have a little moment here to thank one of our friends here at Benzinga. I'm just gonna look at here at the rest of this. Nvidia, chop and churn, Apple, interesting. Shout out to Sharif for his Apple long, but also shout out to Benzinga.
Yes, Benzinga Pro paid for itself on day one. That's a real review from a real trader using Benzinga Pro. Thanks to Benzinga Pro's exclusive news alerts, real-time market insights, and community of over 6,000 dedicated traders. It's the fastest way to trade the news, and right now you can try Benzinga Pro for the lowest price we offer during a 4th of July sale. Use the QR code on the screen or click the link in the description box and join Benzinga Pro today. And I wouldn't be an ad read for Benzinga Pro if I didn't mention Adara and the fact that she uses Benzinga Pro every day, and I have been using Benzinga Pro on and off since 2020. I no longer use it, but it is one that I definitely give the nod to. They are definitely a good source for trading data. All right, let's load up over here and have a look at AAPL. Great rejection off 227, coming right back down. I'm going to be all eyes, ears, and whatever other sensory organs may allow me to detect Apple coming back into 226.25. We'll pack our patience for that level. 226.25. I want to see what Apple does in and around there. MYO, I'm back now, 2 pennies out of the money as this one weasels its way up into 64s. The bid is printing 62s, which break even. The ask at 64. Nothing for me there yet to print on or to get out of. I still have my plan DCA at 69s to defend that 75 top. 75 to me has been an obvious level of resistance on the day, so we'll keep eyes on that. Let's look at some of the Mag 7 names. I think Adara was quite astute in pointing out that Amazon has definitely resistance at that $200 level. I love the fact that it's 200. It's the closing print from Friday. It's a volume weighted average price. It's the $100 level. You get all these umpteen amounts of topping tail candles into it from essentially 1020 onwards. We haven't been above that level. We broke down below it briefly and then got right to 200 again, and it's been acting as a level of resistance since that time. And quite honestly, it did break 200 a bunch of times, but it really can't stay above 200. I mean, it did it on the 2nd. It did it again on the 3rd. It did it on the 5th. It's doing it again today. So we're going to have to see when Amazon is able to take it on a closing basis. Nvidia going up to the high side. I hear from the side, the Katina man yelling about that. 120.25. There it goes. It breaks decidedly through the volume weighted average price. Katina man over $1 in the money there, on its way into that 129.25. We did have these topping tail candles at 10:30 that all rejected off 129 1/3, 120.25. So I'll definitely be interested in to see whether it's able to break it on a closing basis. But great rounded bottom there and an accumulation at VWAP. Then you get to decide it. You want to call it a flat tile break, call it whatever you want, but you get a decided break of resistance. No question about that on NVDA. Goggles retracing off 190. Apple bounced quickly off the $0.50. Tesla doing a little zig, a little zag. Right now, 259.09, and definitely the range still intact on Amazon. This is interesting, though. Another range establishing itself here below Meta for whatever reason. You know, holding that 232 with that 532 with that 533.5. Top at VWAP, but it is putting in higher lows. And if we get a clear break of that 534.5, that'll be a crest break, and I'll definitely be interested in getting long on Meta at that time. In fact, so much do I like this level, I am going to put an alert for the break of that level, because if you break this level on a closing basis, I'm talking 534.25, 534.3, you have a nice gap fill to Friday's closing price on Meta, which is essentially 540. So that's multiple dollars in the money there. Let's see what we get.
Yeah, there's that Meta. It's too bad that Meta ranges so much because I love it, but I like the spreada.
Spreada.
It's not like it's so hard with Meta. I think your timing has to be perfect. To be clear, I've had some good Meta trades. I've traded Meta since going live. I just find that I would say I call Sharif the Meta Whisperer. I feel like Sharif's very adept at being able to get involved in that name, and he also packs the patience. I do not. My patience is a little tiny like backpack for the road. It's not, you know, the big Samsonite suitcase. Tesla though, I got out of my initial short on this. I'm gonna be honest, it was a panic sell or panic buy, I guess. Got profit on 2/3, then I added because we were still at that time rejecting 258.90s. We rejected 258.50s again, so I stayed in that. I was like, cool, Dara, stay in, you're good there. But then I ended up panic selling because I thought I was seeing a little bit of resistance support flip at that 258.10. Lost 10 pennies, so I'm really not gonna cry over spilt shares here. But it is just frustrating. The second I get out, it drops another 70 pennies. So it's like, Dara, stick to your guts. If you're not really seeing anything real beyond your own fear, be careful, wait, breathe. Tesla, though, now definitely making lower highs on the book. Went from 258.30, 258.20, 258.15. How low can you go, Tesla? You're going to do the limbo? The thing is, too, is part of why I'm not trusting myself in this is because I know it's technically speaking counter trend. Tesla is super up on the day, so I guess I'm not as comfortable shorting it. But it's like if I'm seeing things that justify the shorter term scalps, gotta see how that goes. As I say that, Tesla's trying to push higher, so I will let it do its thing, 21. I have no interest in standing in front of that Cybertruck, contrary to understandably popular belief, but let's wait and see what we do here. AMD, I have thoughts about you. Let me tell you what those thoughts are. We had that double bottom I mentioned here. It's not perfect, but it's pretty close around that 173.60s. But look where we've seen not one, not two, but almost three, OB thrice, these 9 EMA rejections. That's also near the low of that pre-market range, 174.20s. My only thing with this, I wouldn't really have a level for a stop, which is why I'm not getting short this right away. Also, the double bottom does make me, understandably, I think, nervous. If I got involved in this, I'd risk into 174.40s. I mean, AMD, you want to keep rejecting like that, you're going to definitely make me consider this entry. Nike somehow still pushing even lower. Shout out to Gaurav for putting that one on our radar. TQs getting all choppy and turning here near high of day. What else is going on this here side chart? What's everybody else looking at? I want to see some other things on watch here. Tesla's not a car company, says Sluggy. Yeah, that's true. Tesla definitely involved in some Tekla as well. Okay, yeah, if you're E-long this name, shout out to you. Tesla 259.30s, continuing to grind higher. My thesis for Tesla for the long so far today has been, watch what it does at previous high of day. Tesla's previous high of day before this was, I believe, that 259.10s. We're trying to bounce there right now, so that could be an interesting look. Let's see what we do at 259s for that old Cybertruck. Why are you not looking at Rivian? Says the Noble fan. I'll take a look at RIVN, see how that one's revving. Is it revving to the upside? Is it revving to the downside? Rivian, I said that on purpose.
3.
Yeah, this is an interesting look here. Not one that I would necessarily want to try. I don't want to say head and shoulders because it's like a head with like a mohawk or something or spiked hair. Look at this. We get this 1571. Two like little baby shoulders here, 1575, but I would say the real shoulders that are kind of interesting are what we get at 1545s. We get this pop here, we make sort of an armpit around this view up area, then we come back below view up and we bounce yet again. Is it a perfect head and shoulders? In no way, especially with these little spikes. But I think this pattern is interesting. We could see a little bit of a rejection here on Rivian, and I'm sorry for the armpit analogy, that was kind of weird.
I gotta give this stock like gym tips because those are some weak shoulders.
Right? It's kind of like, And even the head is kind of more of a mohawk.
Well, that I can't help with. The
Yeah,
head's kind of fixed in place.
Take it to a barber and take it to the gym.
Well, I kind of specialize in the gym. You know, the barbers are their own thing there. But
I understand. We tried.
No, look, guys, I'm looking to dip trade ANVS, and I missed it by like 3 pennies. I'm really sad about this. A flip, looking for support to flip or resistance to flip to support. And so I set up at 55s, and this one dipped into 61. So a little disappointed with that, and I don't know if I want to get it on the second attempt, quite frankly, because it's headed back up into about 15.5. It's doing the dance right now at 15 1/3, between a quarter and a third. Looks like it will come to that $0.50 level. Great day for it today, about 37.1%. Again, the reason that I set up this dip trade here was to take previous area of resistance around 14.5 to see if it acted as support. It did. It just didn't fill me because it was too frugal with my entry. Sometimes with these ones, you never really know where you're going to get the dip. Like sometimes you get them right on the money. Sometimes they break the level. Sometimes you need to run them by 10 or 15 pennies. It really will depend on the name that you're trading. And this one, you know, a bit of a shot in the dark. Right now, not filling. Back to MYO, the trade that I have on, still break even on this one, not doing anything. But I do feel like the volume is dropping off, and I don't really see a level off which buyers keep buying it, nor do I see anything big here on the book to say, well, you know what, below this level, there's a monster whale buyer. No, the book doesn't reflect that, and I see a pretty clear picture here at most of the levels south of my price on, well, I've got basically every gateway there is, thanks to real trading, obviously here. Keeping an eye on some of the Mag 7 names as well. And the most notably, the one that I've been keeping an eye on has been Meta, because I was looking for that VWAP break to come in, and that's not forthcoming, at least for the moment. So these higher lows that we've been putting in, and the crossover here between the 10 and the 20 exponential on the 5, yeah, it's showing me a possible bull look, but it hasn't manifested quite yet. I'll have to break this 53.10, where at 534.10, excuse me, where I've got my alert set up on META for me to get involved. But, you know, it really is the Tesla show today. And if anything, if you put anything on the 10 exponential for a retracement trade, you didn't get involved on Tesla because it hasn't touched the 10 exponential since 1050. That's an hour and 10 minutes ago. The last time Tesla was low enough to wick, to even glance at the 10 exponential on the 5. You've had to be more aggressive, and that isn't really my cup of tea. I've been waiting more for that 260 level to come in and figure out exactly how to trade this, whether we take it as a range there, possibly, or as a rejection, a mean reversion trade on TSLA. We'll keep watch there. But I'm seeing a lot of red candles now come in on these Mag 7 names, and that includes as well Nvidia, as the future comes a little bit off highs. The trend is still intact. If you look at where we're trading price action-wise, still above the 10 exponential on most of the names, but some red candles coming in here. We'll keep an eye to make sure we're not missing anything. The futures levels, though, you know, the levels that I typically look at for the futures are the 100-point levels and the closing prints from the day prior. But I gotta tell you, this 20,640 level keeps on staring at me in the face. And the reason is we had a double top there on Friday. So we couldn't break through that 20,640 level. And then that level plays another part this morning in the range that we put in, the IB high, as well as what we did after that. So if we come back in, and it looks like we will right now, to that 20,640, is that a buying opportunity at that level, given the amount of interactions we've had with that level as a level of resistance? And this is the NQ September contract. You can see we've been intersecting with 20,640 for quite some time. So I'm not going to trade the future, but I definitely want to see what we do at that level. And you may not have to wait that much longer, just a few more points as we dip down now on said future. And that's caused Apple to go red again on the day, now marginally red, 0.17% as it breaks down below that 20,000. 20,000, I'm talking about the future. $226.31, and now it's breaking down below 226. Keep your eye on this level. We had a bit of a crest there earlier on at 10:30. Let's see if we hold up here on AAPL. Big red candle pushing down Apple, pushing down Amazon, pushing down Meta, as well as Goggles, even though Goggles has fared a little bit better on the price.
Yeah, if Apple was at that 20,000, I would be pleased as punch for you.
Yeah.
Because he would be muchly in the money.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, so still shout out to Apple. Great times there for AAPL, though not right now. It is falling. I got involved in the Tesla long. I need to work on being more confident in longs. I think Tesla might still be doing that thing where it ranges a little bit and needs to pick a lane, but we have had a little bit of bounce here between that 258.30s and 257.80s, 90s. If we break out of that range, I'm breaking out. It looks like we're trying to break out below here. I want to see what we do with 257.80s. This is not a massive position by any means. I just wanted to try, see this long because I did feel pretty good about it. I don't know what it is. It's like even in these situations where Tesla's massively high on the day, I still am considering shorts, but I like that we bounced here off that 90 EMA. We bounced off these levels in the book. I'm gonna add a little bit here if we come back to that 258s and break above, but I think this might have been the time to trust my short instincts. As I don't like how this feels. This is a bad look. I am getting out here of that here Cybertruck as we broke below 257.70s. And sometimes it's like, I think sometimes I want to be able to trust the long, and then I get in longs that don't make sense. So we're gonna have to wait and see. If Tesla rejects 258 again, which we just did, then I think we've broken out of that range a little bit. That's where I'll take it short. Happy I tried the long. It was, working for half a second there. Didn't end up working out. We're clearly seeing a change in the trend here, a change in the tide in Tesla. You just gotta, I think it's a huge lesson about trusting yourself, figuring out what works for you for your trades. AMT. Oh, I just put AM. So I am apparently tired, but let's look at AMD. See what it's doing. AMD, I said I like that. I should have gone, and I've done this a lot where the areas of entry I'm interested in end up actually, I should wait to use my stops as my areas of entry. I said I was interested in getting out of a short if I got in at that 174.40. Look, we end up actually rejecting 174.40. But now we're making higher lows. So you know what? I'm gonna try a long here at that 174.20s. We're gonna risk into 174s. I'll have to be very cognizant, of course, what we do at 40s, but let's do 21s here. Let's see if 21s could do something for me. I do like these higher lows. Like I said, I'm very willing to flip direction. I do think even on the 90 EMA and with these wicks, there's something fascinating happening here at 124.20s on both sides. So I'm gonna be risking 20 pennies. I would like to start taking profit here at 174.60s. That was gonna be that next area of top insurance. So I'm willing to add and subtract out of this position. Let's get 59s ready to go here. We're gonna take out half the position. Looks like AMD is like, oh, Adair, you should have shorted me. That's fine. Initially like the short, then I like to flip to the long idea. So let's see what we get here in AMD. AMD's pushing me out here, so we're gonna get out of that trade. Definitely should have stuck with my stress, it sounds like, but all good there. I've been hiding the P&L, and I think that's been really helpful, really effective to just kind of focus purely on the trades and the analysis of the trades and not, any other things like, oh, are we in the money? How are we doing? Like, that's not gonna be super effective. Tesla, when we broke that 257.70, that's where I exited the long, but also that's been a really spicy area for TSLA earlier as a bit of top insurance. If we come back to 257.70 and reject, I will take it short again. Really upset that I did get burned on this last long here because I should have trusted myself enough to know that I was just taking it because I wanted to be able to feel good about the long Tesla. I did like the technicals, but not enough to justify that. So, as I always say, you're always gonna be, I'm actually still green on the day, but you also always gonna be green positivity. I always wanna be bullish positivity. So I'm always gonna be looking for some new opportunities. Tesla doing something here at 257 that is worth looking at. Here, have you all seen AMC, says DJ Marshall. Yeah, let's see what's on the playlist here for DJ for AMC. But also, if there's any tickers you want to AMC on the afternoon show during the rundown, go in the chat right now, ! Join, space. Sorry guys, GME, AMC, Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft, what have you. Get involved there and make sure that you would know what we're doing here in these here markets. So, because we want to see what tickers you guys are looking at. We love audience participation here. Go democracy, get involved in that chat. This 570 area in AMC, really interesting. We form a top, we wait to here for a little bit with not one, not two, but three intense topping tail candles. Then we push lower here. We bounce off VWAP for half a second, but then we do something fascinating here. We get to that 550 area. We make a base there earlier at 11. Then we reject here at 1140, pushing lower. Trying to recover here. I'd like to see what we do at VWAP and then again at that 550 because AMC has certainly been giving you quite a show at 550. So let's see what the movies have in store for us here at AMC. Tesla pushing lower. Apple.
Yeah, I'll take over for that. I'm along at 94s right now. Let's see, we just printed 30s Again, not like an idea that was beyond the realm of comprehension. It was super simple. There's a double top there at 225.70. So I'm like, all right, we made our way down. We broke down below the clear level that I had, which was 226.33. The reason I had that level, that's Friday's closing print. Then we have an obvious double top there before we tank. So I'm like, all right, play out the level. And I was able to take 30 pennies on it super quick. I'm still holding a tiny piece. Let's see if we can get that run up again, but I won't let any part of this trade go against me. We're going to have to hold up at this level. Otherwise, I want no more smoke. So that was really the look there on Apple. I put my stop through the break of 79s to give it a bit of room, but still dancing above 226 right now. The other trade that's lulling me to sleep, come on, baby. MYO, wow. You think it would drop with this without any volume, right? At least that's what the textbooks say. You need volume to go up, not necessarily to make it go down. Well, this stock wants to challenge that concept because the volume is like really poop. And it's holding up for whatever reason above that 60 penny level. So I'm going to pack my patience with this one. I already put the stop and a planned DCA at 69s with the entire position being flattened above that $0.75 mark if it is to make its way up into that level. Apple coming right back down into that area. So please, as dang punch that I was able to take that trade out. And here we go. It's coming into my area, and that's going to be the end of the trade. Not going to let this one go against me as it consolidates at that 225.94 area. Yeah.
Good times there. Boeing seems to have reversed its course, says Groff. Let's take a look at this. I'm still watching Tesla, guys. I know that's really the only thing I've looked at. So nothing new to say about that. Wow, AMD bamboozled me, but we're going to talk about that later. Let's take a look at Boeing. BA here. This one flew initially to the upside. Then, I'm not going to make a joke about Boeing crash landing, but Boeing did crash land here at that 186.50. This is interesting, though. After like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times of basically a whole hour of red candles here, we come and we pause near that pre-market low here of 186.50. Then we make a bottoming tail candle. Okay, I'm kicking Nike off my side chart because I want to see what Boeing does here. The spread on Boeing, I know Boeing's 11 penny spread. I don't really want to do that, but I do think it'll be interesting to see here what we do at 186.50. Definitely made a little bit of a base here. So let's see what we do on this BA. If we're able to fly again, I'd like to see us break above that 187 area. That was a bit of a pre-market resistance level that could be fascinating here. What? Oh yeah, AMD. This is what I want to talk about. That bamboozlement was real. I went long AMD at 174. 20s got out at 174. Look where Boeing decides to pop up at. It's like, oh, Adara wanted 174.60s. Cool. I'll give it to her when she's not in the trade. But great look there on BA. I do think this one's continuing to push higher. I still have eyes on it. And you know, like, it doesn't help that I was involved in this as the market fell a little bit here. So we did have the Qs pushing lower. Definitely doesn't help when you're in the long, so it's all good there.
4.
It's been a lot of pushbacks today. The market's just giving us a lot of excitement, Sharif. Look at this VWAP projection. Now, these charts aren't always going to matter in the futures. However, there have been times where I've discounted levels on the chart because I'm like, oh, you know, charts shouldn't matter, and sometimes they do. So you want to take the balance of the evidence, as Sharif always says. This VWAP projection on the Qs, especially the fact that it was that previous area of support and resistance flip-flop in the pre-market, I am deeply interested. I am fascinating, and I want to figure out what is going to be going on next here in this Qs. I haven't looked at Nvidia much either. Nvidia, I don't want to say rangy, but Nvidia coming into certain areas a couple times here. Right now, one of them is that 128.40, but we do have a topping tail candle. If we reject 128.40, I'll probably take it short. I'll get out at 120. We'll stop out at 128.60s and then try to take profit here around 128s. This might be the vibe for me next year. This N to the V, to the D, to the A. How goes my woe?
Did we cover this story? Because I was on my walk.
Oh no, that was in the morning.
That
came out like in the pre.
Okay, beauty. Okay, because perfect. It's right at the closing print. So Eli Lilly looking to increase its portfolio of drugs there with this $3.2 billion acquisition of Morphic. And initially, I guess the market liked that news. And there you go. So we top tail 928.60 all the way down to 915.03. Let me just make sure that this is highlighted. 915.03. That is yesterday's closing print, or not yesterday, Friday's closing print. So this is an interesting area of support here on Eli Lilly. If we can break down and close below this area, then the trade that I'm looking for is not valid. But what I'm looking for right now is a bounce off this area. Now, I don't think I've ever traded Lilly, ever. But, you know, there is always, I guess, maybe for a time and place for everything. So if this closes, this 5-minute candle closes above this print, this white horizontal line right here, I will be very interested in getting long on Eli Lilly. It's flat on the day right now, up 0.7%. So it did close there. Let's see what this new 5-minute candle between 12:15 and 12:20 prints. You don't have to be first, right, in order to weasel your way up, but you got to have eyes on it. So keeping an eye on Eli Lilly with this acquisition deal today, man. I can't believe this thing's almost $1,000. Guys, and Eli Lilly is in the same boat as Taiwan Semiconductor in the fact that it could be a $1 trillion company by the end of the year. But just to give you, some context, the market cap for Eli Lilly, $870 billion right now. So, a cool 130 off that Trilly Club. And then TSM, by comparison, is at 817. So quite frankly, Lilly leading the race right now because TSM just kind of gave back a lot from that 192.80s down to 187. So obviously chips are the rave, but so are GLP-1s. So quite frankly, they both have really good possibilities here. So Eli Lilly, Taiwan Semi could be part of the $1 trillion club by the end of the year. Back to MYO, we were down at 57s. Now we're back up at 64s. So not much happening with that trade. I'm keeping an eye on Tesla. I'm keeping an eye on Meta at these levels. Okay, so we were talking about possibly taking Meta long if it was to claim that 534 level on a closing basis. Now, what's our look for a possible long at this 530 area? We saw initially that 530 did get defended quite well. Sure, we broke down into the high 528s, but as quickly as we broke down below 530, as quickly as we were able to take it. So is 530 here a good support level off which to get a trade? Well, it'll be a counter trend trade, I'll tell you that, because Meta's down 1.75% on the day. But if 530 keeps holding up, well, then we'll look to play the range. The range is, at least for the moment, a $4 range possibly on Meta. Now, it hasn't established itself more than, a couple of troughs and one crest. Sorry, a couple of crests and one trough. But if we keep ranging at this level, I'll definitely get interested on META 530. Looking interesting here, Adair.
Yeah, no, that Lily at a Trilly, Eli Trilly could be what we call this name. So it took me a while to get there. But yeah, that's an interesting look for Lily. Also, Tesla. Don't know why I sang that. We're still rejecting the 9 EMA here. We're decisively below that 257, finding some resistance for whatever reason around 257.50. I like this look. I am deeply tempted to build a position here. And you know what? I've seen some lower lows here in the book. We're going to get involved here. We're going to start at 70s. I'm interested in I'm definitely not going to get this, but we definitely want to get involved here. I'm willing to add up into 257. If we break above the 257.50s, obviously I'll be getting out here. But I don't even think I'll be able to get in because Tesla pushing a little bit lower there. We call it stressful for a reason. Had a lot of fun in this name earlier today. Also, AMD made me a little bit sad because I wanted to get involved here. I decided to go short here, 175. I was not able to get involved. AMD drops way too quickly. So all good there for AMD. I would like to see what we do though on AMD at 174.60. This is a bit of a, I guess 174. Yeah, I guess we didn't really see that way because that candle ended up closing entirely higher, but that 174.60 was an area I liked of some chop and churn. We ended up bouncing there earlier. So 174 and 40 and 174.60 are both levels I'm watching for a potential long should we bounce there. Nvidia, what are you up to? Rejecting 128.60, you say? We're below the 9 EMA. We are rejecting that level. We kind of had a bit of a dalliance with earlier, to use a Sharivism. So let's see what we do here. Let's see what tickers you guys want to look at. Go in the chat right now. It's already 12:20. You guys have exactly an hour and a half to get involved there. It's like the length of a movie in the theater. Go look at your GME, get your Tesla, get your Amazon. Because you go exclamation point, join space $, whatever ticker. Also, I want to address this question in the chat. Kids Munting, do you also look at TSLL? Asking because you look at Tesla a lot. So when I first got involved in the going live, I did trade TSLL a lot, Tesla. But I found that Tesla did move a little bit slower for me. For my style, I do, This 90-minute rejection is gorgeous. I prefer trading the mega caps rather than the NVDA and NVDL. However, they obviously do have their merits as well. I just prefer to kind of sometimes trade the real thing. I'm lucky enough to be able to do so on the prop floor. But you know what? We're also lucky to have lessons. Thank you so much for preparing this one. Let's talk about the 5 waves of the Elliott wave theory.
Yeah, no Neil's lesson of the day because he's got the day off, but we'll take over from here. We're talking about Elliott wave theory all week. It is a more complicated thing to wrap your mind around, but we're going to try to make it as rudimentary as we can for the purposes of this lesson. So let's talk about it. So have you ever felt that the market moves in a predictable yet dynamic way? And dynamic means, it's a nice way to say predictable, but sometimes unpredictable. So Elliott wave theory proposes that these movements follow a specific pattern. It calls it the 5 waves. So let's get right to it. So the first of the waves that we want to talk about are the impulse waves. So those will be waves 1, 3, and 5. And you'll see them depicted on the chart in a second. But just understand that these impulse waves, which are waves 1, 3, and 5, are the trending waves. Waves 2 and 4, which you'll see in a second, are the retracement waves. Now, this works both ways. It works for the longs, it works for the shorts. So retracement waves, waves 2 and 4, can be down or they can be up, depending on if the general trend is up or down. They are opposite the general trend. Waves 1, 3, and 5 are the trend waves. Waves 2 and 4 are the counter trend waves. I hope that makes it very clear there. So wave 1, let's get right to it. This is the initial move of the trend. It establishes the trend's direction. So where are we going? Are we going up or are we going down? It can also be quite volatile because it's the initiation of the trend, setting the stage for the bigger moves. Wave 3 then comes in. This is the strongest of the trending waves. It's likely going to be the biggest, and it's going to be likely the most violent. Okay? Often the most significant for our purposes, which is trading, because it gives you the biggest outsized moves. Its length and its power are stronger than waves 1 and waves 5. Then the final thrust, wave 5, is basically extending the trend before either a period of consolidation or a retracement altogether. So waves 1, 3, and 5, you need to know, wave 1 initiates the trend, wave 3, the biggest of the bad boys, and wave 5 ends the whole thing. And this is kind of how they're depicted on the chart, very rudimentary here, right? You see wave 1 initiates, wave 2 retraces, wave 3 the biggest of the bunch. This is wrong over here. It should be wave 3 as the biggest. And this is kind of how it looks as if you were to look at it, on a trading view style. A lot easier to see it in charts than to see it IRL, and that's why this bad boy needs a lot of practice. And the reason I included this one over here is because you have subwaves, and you can see that depicted by letters I for 1, 2, 3, and 4, and we'll get to those in future lessons. But just to understand the main 5 waves we're talking about today. So waves 2 and 4, the consolidation and the correction waves. These are like as I said, consolidation and corrective waves. These are periods of price retracement that move against the trend. So 1, 3, and 5 with the trend. 2 and 4 against the trend. They provide, 2 and 4, they provide breathing room before the trend resumes, right? Because we saw with wave 3 continues from wave 2, and wave 5 continues from wave 4. So wave 2 is essentially the pullback after wave 1, which starts the trend, typically not retracing, though, all of wave 1's move. So if you get a nice move on wave 1, typically wave 2 won't come back down all the way to fib levels. And we'll be using Fibonacci's with Elliott waves in the coming lessons, just to give you kind of a preface on that. So wave 4 is a smaller retracement after the more powerful wave 3, the strongest of the bunch, as we said. It usually ends near the starting point of wave 3, but doesn't retrace the entire move, okay? So that's what you need to know about that. And here it is. So this is how it looks in a bull market. So Elliott wave theory works for both bulls and bears, and it's no surprise that there's a head and shoulders there in the middle as it corrects, but this is obviously a diagram. So what are you doing here? How do you basically get started, right? So first and foremost, you need to find an instrument that you're interested in looking at. So if you're looking at the futures, you're looking at equities, whatever it is, find something that you want to trade. Then you got to identify the trend within that specific instrument. Is it a consolidative look? Is it bullish? Is it bearish? That's what you need to ID. And then this is the more nuanced part. Look for the 5 waves. Can you visually identify the characteristics of each wave based on what we just discussed? And this is where it gets a little bit tricky. You need a lot of practice in order to do this, and you're definitely not something you want to use right from the get-go. So the 5-wave pattern applies to different time frames. Keep that in mind. They're fractal in nature. From daily charts to intraday ones, they're both applicable. However, shorter term time frames can be more volatile when using Elliott wave theory, making wave identification more challenging, guys. All right, and as we always mentioned, when you use a lower time frame, like a 5-minute or a 1-minute, and you're coming down from, like, say, a higher time frame, a daily or a 4-hour, the lower down on the time frame you go, the higher the failure rate for the analysis tool. So just keep that in mind and look for more confirmation there.
This is also interesting, so Sharif for going over that. And we'll see interesting seeing here, Jonathan M saying in the chat, waves 2 and 4 apparently alternate. So if 2 is flat, 4 is going to be more of a zigzag. So that's interesting. I definitely want to look into that, find out more about that. It's so, part of what's great about this community in this chat is there's so many people with different perspectives coming through there. So awesome look, something I want to look into. Tesla. Sorry for singing there. I took 50 pennies on this most recent short here. Basically got involved, started the position 254, 256.39s, added 256.48s. Then I ended up getting out some at the 256, saved a piece through the dream. Part of the dream ended at 256.20s. Then I got out part of 256. Just below 256s, the rest around 256.85s. Tesla forming a little bit of a doji, which is why I haven't gotten back in this short. However, we're still seeing lower highs in the book here. So first we got to that 256. Like I said, I got part of this filled at 256.50s. Then we have not gotten back to 256.50s since I got that fill. And even that fill is a bit more of a wick basis. We are seeing lower highs. So I'm going to try a smaller position here, 256.18s. I don't want to chase this. If we get it, we get it. If we don't get upset. Shout out to Neil.
No.
Hopefully his MRI is doing well. I know he mentioned that on the market recap with us on Friday. So our fingers are all very crossed. Tesla's like, yeah, dare ass, you're yapping. I'm just gonna break lower. So that's cool. Shout out to Tesla. Shout out to anyone who's had any trades on this name. This is giving you so many opportunities. AMD, still interesting, but I think this is going to be more of a range. It's a little bit of a bamboozler for sure. We do keep rejecting here off that 174.80, bouncing off that 174.80, couple wicks below here into that 174.60. So we're going to have to see what we do at this level. I think AMD could be trying to curl higher, but there's clearly some resistance here at that 175.20, 175.40 area. Gabriel thanking for the lesson there and the explanation of Elliott waves. So shout out to you. Gabriel, yeah, we're always Elliott waving hi to everyone in this here chat. That was just a dumb pun that I had to do. Tesla, still these lower highs. We're going to keep an eye on it. It's not anything I want to rush into because that Cybertruck is one that you want to be very careful before entering. It can, like a jet ski, it can throw you across the room. It can be a little bit wild. But yeah, let's wait and see what we do here on TSLA and these other names. Jonathan M saying 254.75 Tesla could bounce, but favoring shorts. Yeah, that 254.75 is a really spicy area of top and churn earlier today. Totally see what you mean. Right now, though, I think we're going to start this Tesla short position here. I'm willing to add up into 255.60s if we break decisively, or sorry, 256.60s if we break decisively out of that trend. I'll be getting out. How are you doing?
Good. I just got into Meta at 80s. I'm looking to defend this 530 area. My stop is going to be on the sell side of 529.5. So if it breaks a $0.5 level, that's it. That's the end of the trade there. So we'll look to weather a beak on the north side of 530. We'll see if we can get some a print above that 530 level. But I'm looking for I'm seeing a bunch of bottoming tail candles come in. And, you know, it got me into this trade. We just printed 05s there on the ask, but we all know how Meta is. Its nickname is Spreada for a reason because it's tough to trade through the spread. And right now, the set spread is about, well, right now it's 11 pennies. It was a lot wider. We're printing 02s on the ask, 80s on the bid. So 22 pennies, guys. That's just, eek. That's just Lily, right? Like, that's like trading. I might as well trade Eli Lily on that. I'm waiting at 05s to get printed. We've crossed 05s a bunch of times on the ask. It's not going to print unless the bid crosses. So, yeah, this is kind of the thing that I deal with on a perennial basis with Meta. If I'm going to trade Meta, I'm going to have to deal with the spread, and that's kind of just the way that it is. So we won't get upset about that. Here we go, showing 03s again. I'm waiting at 05s. The ask did move up to the whole dollar. Sorry, the bid did move up to the whole dollar, but it's having a whole lot of trouble printing. And there we go. Now we got the print. So nicely in the money, about 27 cents in the money there on the low on META. So again, it was a 530 dip or get out kind of thing. And this is the level that I was looking at on Meta. I said, fantastic bottoming tail candles in a more volatile time of day. If we do come back in a less volatile time of day, I'm talking about now, well, then it should, hold up at this 530 without a whole lot of trouble. That's if, and that's big if the future holds up right now at break even, because we're right at that break even level on the future. 20,619. So if we hold above this level, I think, Meta can stay up. We'll see. Meta doesn't have to always march to the beat of the drum of the future, but yeah, that's kind of, you got to keep one eye on the future, one eye on Meta if you're going to be trading these Mag 7 names, at least in my humble opinion. So we're nicely in the money here. We're printing 14s on META. I'm long 80s. I'm either going to get stopped out or I'm going to let this at least retrace into possibly 533. I'd rather get stopped out than watch this one go to 533 without me. So I'd rather get triggered for the remaining amount through the break of the $0.50, come what may. We'll see what we get. We won't get upset. So keeping an eye on these names. I'm still involved in the sleeper over here on MYO. I'm break even. It's showing me 65s. I did DCA into 70 like I planned. I told you all about that. The break of 75 gets me out of this trade. I'm still short bias on this one because of the rounded top. Sorry, I was just looking at something here. I'm still short bias on this one because of the rounded top, but I don't think it will look as a rounded top if we do break that 75, because then that'll be a higher high. And I don't want any of the smoke there. So packing my patience with that. Meta right back down into that 530 area again, but I'm not going to take this one out too soon. Again, I'd rather get stopped out through the break of 529.5 for the remaining small amount than watch this one go to 533 without me. That would peeve me more than getting stopped out for very small size for a 30 penny loser.
Yeah, that shout out to you. And then also I just realized I think we have nicknames for all the Mag 7s. I just thought of that because we have Spreada. We've got the dead one. We have the monster.
Okay.
That's just Nvidia. We have Tesla, right? Stressla, whatever. Microsoft, you have the soft one, the Zon. A lot of these are yours. And then goggles. So I do think all the Mag 7s have a name.
Oh, yeah.
I'm so happy. I just was thinking that. I'm like, oh, they've all been christened by us here at the midday. Tesla, I got out of my short early because we got a little bit bamboozled. We popped into 256.30s. We're holding the 256 really well. I said, you know what, Adara, get out 10 pennies in the money. You're all good there. Tesla's still breaking lower. Tesla's like, Adara, you guys call me Stresslow, okay? I do not have to do what you want to do, what you want me to do, when you want me to do it. I'm like, that's fair, Tesla. I understand. Now we're really decisively rejecting that 256. So I do think I don't know if I want all the smoke. I would like some of the smoke. I'd like a little puff of the smoke there on TSLA. Tesla, let's see. I don't know why I did that. Tesla here, let's see, we do at 255.50. Tesla's been really spicy at these 50 cent and lower levels. Spice is not a thing I enjoy in my food at all whatsoever, but I love it here in these markets. So let's see what we do here on the Tesla. Nvidia breaking down out of that little baby range and support area as I was talking about earlier with that 128.40, 128.60. Nvidia decisively breaking below. That would have been a good short. Definitely did not have that. But the SPY, I've been spying the SPY here. Why, you may ask? Well, it's not particularly high. I'm going to stop rhyming. But, okay, so we're doing something fascinating here. I don't want to say bear flag because it's the SPY, but a little bit of a bear flag. We did reject here, especially I was mentioning that 550, 510 area earlier. It was a little bit of a base. We reject it violently. We drop almost $1 here, drop about 80 pennies. Then we come and we do a little bit of consolidation. I'm going to watch here. I think there could be some scalps in my future here for the SPY. We do have some bottoming tail candles, but we also have a pretty vicious topping tail candle coming to that previous area. Then we had a little bit of chop and turn here on a wick base. It's going to be 554.70. I'm interested in shorting this 554.50, risking into 554.70, and then scalping in and out of profit as I like to do, just kind of scraping profits, getting out, adding, subtracting, adding, subtracting. So if SPY gives me that opportunity, I shall be watching the book to see how this one would like to move. What's everyone else looking at? Yeah, SPY is a short, says Jonathan M. I agree. So shout out to you there on that. Let's see what up. Boeing kind of going off a cliff.
Really?
Says Ricky Peters. Yeah, let's see how Boeing.
Yeah, it is.
If it's going, it sounds like it's going to the downside there.
Yep.
Not to,
Tina, man, can we get that one?
that's a bad look here.
The
I
airplane?
forgot that's an animation.
Hold on, Adair. This is no, not that one, Katina, man. Yeah. There it is.
I love this.
This is like a high quality one too.
Is he wearing a pilot or a chef's jacket?
He's a chef, man. The dude's always cooking up winners. That's
So he's like a chef that was in a plane and the plane fell and then he like Jason Statham did out of the plane.
yeah. That's why the plane fell, says Ram so astutely put, because a chef, rather than a pilot, was piloting the plane. That's not a combination you typically want. At least personally, I don't want to go in to Air Canada and see a non-uniform person, rather wearing a lab coat, going into the cockpit. I personally would feel uneasy. How would you feel?
I don't know if I like it. I would probably, you don't usually see the cockpit, but you're right. It would not make me feel
I see the pilot
particularly
going in
safe.
sometimes.
Maybe
Especially when they come delayed, Air Canada. Yeah, all the time.
He's right.
They come in delayed. You know, when I went to visit my sister last year, we had to wait 3 hours on the tarmac because there were no pilots. They had to wait for the pilot to come from another destination, dust his shoulder off, do his thing 25, and then come into our thing.
do his thing 25.
The only reason I said 25 because Meta's printing 530.25. We're nicely in the money here, Adair, but I'm not taking anything out here. I'd like to see a retracement near 533. That is where VWAP is at. I'm really going to try to pack my patience here. Unusual for me to hold something this long on the show, but I'm really going to try. I'm either going to get stopped out or I'm going to get something in the higher 530s again.
Your Boeing is there. You're not Boeing. Your Meta is a great look there. I was just thinking about Meta. That's why I said it. But yeah, I'm definitely not too upset. I'm sure with that trade. So shout out to you on that. Seriously, as you always say, to me, I hope you print. And I love that little curl there in Meta. It looks very roundy. Also, I've got to shout out ID in the chat. I'm Boeing back to Cali. I have no words.
Boeing. Back to cat.
And it works on other levels too, because it's also like in a Boeing you could go to Cali. Right? So I think it works on like every level it could work. Tesla, you want to break 255? I will scalp short you. I am qualmless, Tesla. Oh, actually, okay, I have some qualms. What qualms do I have? We did some chop and churn here with Tesla at 255 earlier, so I do want to be aware of that. But I mean, topping tail candle. Topping tail candle. I don't hate this. I have that 255.50 area I can use as support or resistance. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to get involved if we get back to 254.99s. Really small position. And Tesla's like, Adair, you should have been way more aggressive because I am going to the downside here and it's going to be a mess for you. So I was like, that's fine, Tesla. That's okay. Getting out of that, if we have another rejection, I might get short. But yeah, Tesla, you really have to take advantage. You have to be really quick on your feet, on the balls of your toes, and getting involved there. And every opportunity you see. Nike, which I just saw because it's on my side chart, is pushing higher now. Thanks again to Gaurav for pointing this one out. A couple other people mentioning this one as well. Nike decidedly to the downside, but then we hit just above 73. And we start to run higher. Start doing that marathon, going high now, like the Rocky song here. We get a little bit of chop and turn at the 90 MA, then we push higher, and now we're coming to maybe an area of resistance here. This was a bit of chop and turn earlier. Support and resistance can, of course, flip. We're also getting near that area where we had that 90, sorry, not the 90 MA, we had this wick up here into 73.90, which actually is near the 90 MA. If we bounce here, this could be interesting. Not one that I'll be trading, but I have it on my side chart because it has been making some wild and woolly moves. Tesla now at 254, so my 255 short will never happen, or never say never, but right now. So I want to watch Tesla. Super interesting at these whole dollar levels. I'm just looking at Meta here on my side chart, and I want to clap for Sharif because he had no zuck needed on that.
No, but nice. Can I say something? I'm worried about the future because we're at the break-even point on the future, and I think we're at a point of indecision, Adair, because we're kind of wicking a little bit up, a little bit down, and I don't have a read. And I don't want to hold Meta against the futures. I just don't. Now, maybe it goes up and the futures goes down. Maybe it's one of those outlying days. I don't know. But personally, I think I have a better shot on doing well on Meta if the future goes up, right? Just based on the connection between the NQ and some of these tech names. So we're doing D's right now. We're printing 33s on Meta. But then you can see came all the way back as quickly as I said, 530, 33, came back into 530, and now it's trying to hold that level as the future breaks down. So I'm You know, this may end up breaking down, but it's going to have to stop me out for me to get out of this. I just won't take it out. I just won't. I don't care. I want to see if this one goes up, and quite frankly, I'm just going to practice using this name anyway for to hold things longer. So let's look at exactly what else is moving here. VPRX is the #1 gap scanner on the name. It is at the volume weighted average price right now. We haven't looked at these small cap gappers in a hot minute, so let's do it right now. VPRX, it only broke below the volume weighted average price here for a period of about 10 minutes or so, or 15 minutes or so. Was able to take it quite quickly back at this candle here at 1225. And this is kind of what you want to see if you don't want to use VWAP. And oh man, I suck. This beautiful topping tail candle there at 940, that's the IB high, and it comes into 104. Lo and behold, all these prints hold at 104. So this is the kind of thing that I need to have more eyes on if I want to trade these small cap gappers, because this is a fantastic look right here. And like, yeah, it didn't give you a 20 penny or a $1 winner, but if you get that level at 104 and you see umpteen amount of candles hold up at that level, number one, it should give you confidence. Number two, you can size in because you can see that it's holding up there, and then you can scalp with bigger size for a 10, 15 penny winner, whatever it is. So keeping an eye on VPRX, it's one of the only ones that's below the volume weighted average price right now, but I got to get out of my trade, sadly, on MYO, as that trade is no longer valid, and I have no idea why I didn't get stopped out through the break of 575. I had an order there to get stopped out. That didn't trigger, so that's really frustrating, but we'll flatten out there. So we do take our first loser on the day. MYO, tried to take this short, lost on it. Let me see if I'm still positive on the day. Yeah, very positive. So fine, we're good there, but this one was, you know, look, I did what I need to do. I put the stop, I put the beak wetters. Sometimes it doesn't trigger, but there's only one person to blame, and you got to blame yourself. So we lose on this one. MYO, loser on the day there.
Yeah, this Tesla is interesting. I thought that 254, I saw the 254 hold. I was like, maybe this is long, was not fast enough for it. But we're still now, we're not flourishing, we're flopping, we're flailing here. 254, 60s, that could be an interesting short. But right now, I'd rather get out of my SPY short first here. Why did I get short the SPY? Because we did have those rejections here quite a few times. I liked the look, took a small position, didn't work out, I got out. Also, this is actually interesting. I was mentioning this to Sharif off camera, but I was just thinking of this with the SPY. I actually, when I was at the RV this weekend, one of the people in our group was actually a futures trader. So that was cool. I got to talk some shop this weekend. Yeah, it was at NQ, SPY, ES, and some Forex. So yeah, that like 30-second charts. That was really neat. Shout out to him. But yeah, so like it is definitely different trading these futures. They do move pretty quickly. I know the SPY is an ETF of the futures, but you know, a little bit different, but certainly some of the same principles. You're looking at all of these names. And as Sharif said, especially if you're going to be in some of these Mag 7 or these bigger names, you want to be seeing what, especially the NQ futures are doing in tandem with your stocks. Wow, Tesla here. Definitely getting a little bit interesting at this 254. I'm going to try for 30s because I'm seeing these lower highs here on the book. Really small position. Let's see what we do here. I want to see us break lower. I will not be staying in this beyond. Oh, I don't want to do a share post back again. It's because there's so many of them today. I know. But look at this, Sharif. Like, look where VWAP is. VWAP keeps bouncing on Tesla, and VWAP is near our earlier flat top break. I have no words. I have no words. We'll have to see. Hopefully I don't get rinsed on this Tesla short. I just love this. No one should have given me this button. But I do I do think this is an interesting level. It's something I want to try. Really small position, so I would like to add if I keep seeing these lower highs here. But again, you see stuff you like, you do have to trust yourself. And as Ariana Grande says in 7 Rings, I see it, I like it, I want it, I got it. So let's see how TSLA goes. Also vote for whatever tickers you fancy. Go in that chat, !, join space, $, TSLA, NVDA, MSFT, GME, AMC, seeing a lot of OPTT in the chat. So let's see how things go. Get involved, try it all out, and let us take a look at the tickers that you are interested in, because we believe in democratic society here at Trader TV Nation.
Yes, absolutely. Couldn't agree more there. Thank you for reminding me there, Adara. Make sure, excuse me, you guys are entering the prompt right. It's got to be ! then the word join. Make sure to have a space between the word join and the $. Otherwise, your vote will not trigger. Go, Meta, go. All right, so I did have a right read on this. When you bottoming tail at a $10 level, decent look here, wet or beak at that 80 penny level. Yeah, so, yeah, I lied. I'm not going to hold this to 533. I suck. But, yeah, the whole idea was to take this 530, let's call it the consolidation area bottom. I mean, you do get wicks below it, quite frankly, but that was earlier, and they were all bought up. So to me, it rung true that this level was good, and I did see more bottoming tail candles on this side of the double bottom, and that prompted me to feel that 530 was being defended by said long. So, you know, we'll see if this one can weasel its way up into 533. I think it could be a short up there, quite frankly, just because of VWAP. It's got that hockey stick pattern, kind of with this, I don't know, maybe someone carved an M into it or whatever, but it does look, yeah, ooh. Good job there. Yeah, I gotta tell you, my mind is not there, Dara. Not today, anyway.
I'm happy you appreciated it because I know it's a bit of a dad joke, but I mean, it was right there, Sharif. It was literally, the M was literally right there.
Can I ask you something?
Please do.
Is your dad good at punning as well?
My dad loves puns. My dad, like, half the texts that this man sends me are pun related. Oh my God, no, he loves the puns. He literally, so we ended up, because he was moving, this is just an example of a pun. We ended up moving during Father's Day, so we didn't get a Father's Day. So the next week they went for Father's Day. He texts me, I'm out for Father's Day. F-A-U-T, I was like, F-A-U-X, I was like, this is, the man likes to pun is what I'm trying to say. That's one of my favorite recent.
So clearly it runs in the fam.
Yeah, shout out to Perry, shout out to Perry.
Shout out. All right, I don't feel comfortable calling him by his first name.
That's fair, I will.
Yeah, well, he's your dad, right? Mr. LePage is how I'm gonna call him.
He's a teacher, actually, so that tracks.
There you go. So he's used to that. All right, Manuel Palma, shout out to you, my man. INTC, let's go ahead and look at Intel. Look, Adara put this on the watch list, and rightfully so. Let me look here because we still didn't really have a great grasp on what was going on with Intel today. And I'm looking at my blotter, and there's still nothing Intel related.
I saw something. TSM.
TSM. Okay, I'm looking. Oh, here it is, 947. What's going on with Intel stock on Monday? Shout out to the good folks there at Benzinga putting the story. Intel Corp has bypassed Vietnam for a substantial investment project, citing insufficient investment incentives. The stock is trading higher Monday, blah, blah, blah. The U.S. chip maker has proposed a $3.3 billion project and requested 15% of cash support from the Vietnamese government. I guess maybe they didn't get it. However, the Vietnamese Ministry of Planning and Investment disclosed in a document dated June 29th that Intel later decided to relocate the project to Poland, according to Taipei Times reports. Taipei, obviously the capital of Taiwan. Why do they care? Because, well, TSM's there. The document revealed that LG Chem also decided against investing in Vietnam. What's with all this Vietnam beef? Choosing Indonesia for a battery project after asking the Vietnamese government to cover 30% of the investment cost. Well, I don't blame them, right? I mean, yeah, if I'm going to boost your economy, you're going to have to ante up. So it looks as if maybe they're not getting the money that they wanted. Intel wanted 15%. Looks like LG Chem wanted 30%. Neither of them got what they wanted, and maybe they're looking somewhere else now. You reported this morning that they were talking to the Chinese foreign minister, correct?
Yeah, one of their officers. I saw that.
Which is interesting because we know that they're trying to de-risk offshore, friendshore, nearshore, whatever shore you want to use. They want to get away from China, and that's the look. So I don't understand that. Why would you be talking to the Chinese minister? Again, I don't get that. I don't need to get it. In any event, and that's the look on Intel on the day. It's a great look, Manuel. 4.5 in the clear. Neil's probably doing the two-step right now, up to $34 there as resistance, technically $33.97. Let's do a little bit of zoom in here. So we're above VWAP right now. I gotta tell you, with this type of name, it's just so headline specific. I'd rather not trade it from a technical perspective. But if I really had to, it looks like there is a seller at the $0.75 every time we come into that 33.75. We are met with a wall of selling. So unless you get a dip trade possibly off that 33, 33.10, you know, I personally stay away. But you know, what do I know, right? So let me know how it goes for you. Shout out to Finch Jane, man. I saw the dude was up a light 12K on the day, which is absolutely insane. Yeah, that's it. Right? Shout out to Finch Jane there, one of the OGs from the T-Dot, obviously as evidenced by his name. We all know where that plays.
We do.
Yeah.
Also, you cannot say that Neil is doing the two-step, Sharif. You said that. You said, oh, with Intel's up, Neil's doing the two-step.
What should he be doing?
Well, but he can't with his Achilles
Oh,
heel.
I feel so bad for that. Yeah, the dude he's limping right now.
Yeah.
We all know. Shout out to the
He's
Neil.
doing the two-step on his crutches. Yeah. I just wanted to address it because I heard that and I was like,
Good point.
But yeah, so shout out to Neil. We always hope for recovery and we always mean well. And yeah, we always loving roasts here at the Trader TV Live. Tesla bouncing a little bit here, so I do want some smoke as long as we stay. I was like, why did that not go through? I put the size too much, it's all good. Basically, what I want to do here is I am seeing higher lows here on the book on TSLA. And as I say that, we push lower into these 254s. If we can't hold 254s, it looks like we can't. I'm not gonna go long, but it did look to me like Tesla was trying to do a bit of chop and turn a bit of a bounce here off that 254.30s, which is the previous area of a bit of resistance. I had a short briefly, ended up getting out of the short there because I was realizing we were making higher lows. We still are though, because when I got involved, it was 253, I wanna say 70s. We haven't seen that. Now we're seeing 253.80s, 253.90s is the low. And as I say that, we are trying to push lower. So if this wants to be a range like 253.70s to 254.30s, I'm willing to play it that way. It would be very scalpy, very much a book scalp, but I can totally live with that. I do want, not all, but I want some of that smoke. So let's wait and see. And as I say that, Tesla does push lower. Need to trust the short case on this, I believe. But let's see if we do it VWAP too, because we know VWAP, when we get to VWAP on Tesla, it likes to bounce. Now, VWAP is often just a line, but there are lots of times, especially lately, we saw that a couple times last week where Tesla would get to VWAP and then spring, oh, that clapped way too hard there. It will spring up viciously, violently, with an intensity. So definitely keep an eye onto the T, to the S, to the L, to the A. Tesla VWAP bouncing back up, says Robbie V. Yeah, you're right, we're pretty close to that level now. I want to see what we do here at 253 though, as I mentioned, with that flat top break earlier and the way that we really bounced when we got back recovering from that. To me, that is going to be a bit more of an interesting view up level for my purposes. But hey, Tesla, if you want to push back above this 254, play this range, I will absolutely get involved. We're going to start getting involved here at 84s, 253, 84s. If Tesla will have me, small position, and I'm totally willing to add here as we grind higher. I would like to be out for my purposes by 254.50s. This is going to be a bit of a good time, not a long time type position. And that's only because I've noticed Tesla at that level keeps rejecting. But yeah, we're going to try to get involved here, 254s, then also add it 253.80s. I don't think Tesla wants me in that Cybertruck. Tesla's like, no, Adara, you were too slow. You should have trusted yourself more. It's like, yeah, I want to learn those lessons about trust. So yeah, Tesla, be aggressive with me, Tesla. Help me learn, help me understand, help me grow. That being said, if we do reject here, I'm going to cancel these longs and I'll take it short just into that range because I do think Tesla's giving me a range. I used to love range trading, haven't done enough of it lately, but if the ranges are going to manifest, I definitely owe it to myself to make those attempts. You know what's getting kind of rangy though, which is odd, is the SPY question mark, because we've literally, I was involved in this long. I got out short, got out at that 554.70s near this wick. We've just been chopping and turning since then. Looks like SPY wants to push higher. But yeah, right now, as far as the SPY can see, it's been a bit of a range over the last few 5-minute candles. Can't believe it's already 12:52. What an exciting day on these here markets. Nvidia making lower highs as well. What do you have your eye on?
I'm looking at Pulse, PLSE, Pulse Biosciences, making a big boy move midday, Ram. It gets into that 40% territory. On the 1 minute chart, there is a whole bunch of topping tails into $17, $16.99. Let me give you the deets on this one. It's almost $1 billion market cap, 919 million, so it's larger. The volume is still a little suspicious on this one, about 1.1 million shares, but you can see the shares coming in either initially there at the open at 9:30 or just right now. So the volume picking up midday, a little unusual. Here is the look for why it's running out. Pulse Biosciences hits 2-year high on FDA status for surgery system. What's the deal here? Okay. Granted breakthrough device designation for Pulse's cardiac surgery system for the ablation of cardiac tissue during atrial fibrillation. Okay, so my old man, I'm going to screenshot this because I'd like to know. My old man's all about this life right here. He likes to always know about this kind of stuff. So yeah, great look today. for PLSE. Let's give the deets on the float. Here we go. So 22.3 million share float, not small, not large either. Let's find out what the short float on it is. Wow, here we go. Now we talking, baby. 14.86, essentially 15% of that 22 and a third million shares is floated. So we could absolutely get a parabolic short squeeze depending on where said shorts are sitting. We just touched 17, so we're playing with days high because we were 16.99 a second ago. Now, it behooves us to look at the daily on this monster here to figure out, is it a former runner? Well, quite frankly, it's had a decent year. Look at the bottoms that we put in last August. Since those bottoms, we are up a decent, nice 350% from the lows of last summer. So it's not, I don't want to call this a small cap gapper. It's a $1 billion market cap. Let's put some respect on its name. The fact of the matter is, though, we have to trade it like a small cap gapper because it shows up on the scanner and it has these outlying days. Now, it had its best days, I guess, were during the pandemic. Unsurprising there with the biotech stock up at 45 bucks since that time. Obviously, last summer we got as low as that $4 area. $4 was an interesting area to buy this one because it really didn't break down much below that. Then, more recently, March to the middle to end of May, 650 was the line in the sand. That was a flat bottom there that never got breached. Then all the smoke started coming at mid to late May, early June, as this one started shooting right back up. $15 was that resistance level. You can see the crest there. Multiple wicks into 15, all of which rejected. That is, of course, until July 8th when we break through. 1705 now, HOD. This thing is going, baby. I've got, with this new chart over here, you're going to see the volume, you're going to see RSI, you're going to see average true range, and you're going to see MACD. So when I bring this chart up, you'll be able to see all those ones, and I'll do that on purpose because we're teaching them. Might as well use them, right? So you guys know how I trade. I'm not going to be punching at high a day on this. It's going to have to be off a moving average, off a key area of technical resistance, previously support or now support. So the level I'm looking is this 15.5. I like the 15.5 because it's the IB high, right around that 1540, and then we actually rejected off it at 1205. We got into that 15.5 and tanked, held VWAP. 1475 is where we dipped to. So now that we've cleared that 15.5 by some distance, I will want to now use it as that level of support. Let's go ahead and load up PLSE on the trading screen. We'll take off the ZUC train over here. This trade's on the NASDAQ, guys. So let's go ahead and put order at 1555. Casadera, what is life without whimsy?
I don't know.
Why won't this let me trade? Oh, it's blocking me. Am I blocked on this? What's going on over here, Mr. Trading? Yeah. It says new order gateway rejected. Okay. So usually that means the symbol of the order for trade for the trader is blocked. PLSE, Katina, man. Can you see if you can get maybe like, yeah, on the NASDAQ? Are you able to get in? No, if it's blocked, it's blocked. Yeah, Katina Man says if it's blocked for everybody. It does under 50,000 normally. Okay, good. The Katina Man says if it does under 50,000 shares normally, it will be blocked. The 5-year average is 250,000. So recently, it could have done less. Anyway, I can't get into it. We'll keep watching it though. But if you guys, if you guys take that 1550, well, then I'm going to be really upset with that. Before we send it back to Adara, Apple, right back at that 226.75. Guys, the dead one is putting in higher lows, but most notably, we are still we're still trading below 227. That was the area crest that we put in at around noon, and it's the one that we bounced off in the pre-market. So previously area of support now acting as resistance, though we're working our way up to it, though.
Yeah, okay. So Nvidia, I tried to short, did not work out. I want to see what we do here at 70s. If we can't reclaim the 70s, we're gonna have to get it, yeah. Getting out of Tesla, this is what happens when I try not to be short biased. I do think I need to go back to the short biased way of life because normal Adara would have taken this short and it would have worked out We had these topping tail candles. The book was giving me some lower highs. Mind you, the highs slightly higher lows, but lower highs. So I'm a little bit grumpy at myself. You know, of the 7 dwarves, I am grumpy. I am just, all 7 of the dwarves is grumpy. Wow, Adara, wow. This would have been the short. Happy to go to the long where I did. Clearly, I only lost 30 pennies, which for Tesla is, honestly, I can live with that. But I watched this VWAP bounce, though, because like I said, Tesla VWAP bounce, 253, that was really what I wanted to see, and it looks like we might be getting it here. I have no interest in rushing into this, but man, if we keep seeing this bounce here, I will be taking this Tesla long with a viciousness. It looks like we might be getting this at 15s. Again, I don't want to rush, but you got to see what you see here, and what I'm seeing is pretty tasty. Also, I got out this Nvidia short because we pushed above the 90 MA. And now it looks like we're back lower again. So, I mean, go Nvidia, shout out to you. No, I'm joking. You guys know I'm always bullish positivity. I'm actually also still up on the day, so please, this punch cannot be too upset there. Trying to hide my P&L more, mostly just checking to make sure I'm okay for risk reasons. But yeah, so there we are, all good there. Sean apparently trotting on that bear there. He just had that animation up there. And I'm sure he is confident in his trades. But I'm also confident right now in Tesla, because I am seeing a bit of a hold here. If we break below the 253s decisively, I'm just waiting here because I'm happy I waited a little bit because we are cracking below the 253s and then we bounce. So you know what? I like what I see. I have confidence. I'm getting involved. Small position. I am willing to add here. Will it fill me? I wanted 14s. If I don't get 14, there we go. We are getting added here. Am I a little bit nervous? Yeah, but you want to be a little nervous sometimes in trades. You want to be comfortable. You want to be okay with taking those risks. Right now, for me, on the balance, the evidence, the Tesla long bounce made sense. I know I was just lamenting not being short biased anymore, but this is one of my plans from the beginning, was this Tesla long, or not from the beginning, but from a while ago, this Tesla long at 253. We're holding 253 for now. If we break decisively below 253, if I see something distinctly different, shout out to you-know-who, Obi there, in the book, then I will be getting out. But right now, I want to see Tesla chop and churn. I know these VWAP hold. The VWAP hold might not hold forever, but right now it's holding, so I do owe it to myself to attempt this position. I have no qualms about adding if I continue to see us hold this level, but right now I just want to breathe and enjoy the ride in this here Cybertruck. Right now, basically flat on it, so let's see if there's any change in the tides there in those Elliot waves. Don't worry, guys, we will start those lessons soon enough, but right now, I want the Cybertruck to vroom higher. How are you doing?
I like it. I'm looking at ZAPP, Adara, because ZAPP was one of those ones that we had on the side chart for the small cap gappers. And, you know, I had this one on because it was a breakout trade. It's up, 70% on the day, but here we go. It broke down and it's presenting itself as a range trade. Here it is. So it held the IB low there at $6. The IB low technically got to 606. This one holds $6, but we made that point very clear. The IB high and lower zones are not prices. Now, why I'm interested in it, I don't have shorts. I know it's going to be a pay for shorts type deal because it's weaseled its way right back into VWAP. And VWAP was a line in the sand earlier. It was a line in the sand again after the breakdown. It was in the pre-market. It was after the opening bell. So VWAP is featuring with ZAPP today, ZAPP. So possible short here off $7. You could play this any which way you want. You could put your stop above 7.25 because you have a lot of resistance in there, both in the pre and after the bell. Obviously, you go higher than 7.25, but I'm saying that the initial resistance level looks like it is 7.25. So if you get short 7, you could risk 25 pennies to go down to 6 because that's where the zone is, right? 7 and 6, 7 the high side, 6 the low side as support. That's below VWAP, right? So we'll see what ZAPP gives us. Let me give you the details on said ZAPP. Well, it's done a plethora of shares today, about 60 million, 59.7 as we currently speak. The market cap is small. It's about $21.7 million market cap, and I'm willing to bet the float is even as small, 1.6 million share float. Tell you that is very small, and it can absolutely get parabolic by virtue of its small float. Let's find out what the short float in is. Jeez, 60% short. Okay, Katina, man, I don't know what we're going to do with this one, but I haven't seen anything that short in a hot minute. 59.67% of ZAPP is shorted. ZAPP Electronic Vehicles Group. Oh, okay. So this one has at 1.92 million share float. My broker says 1.6. We're arguing over small amounts here. 60% is short. At least it was up to 14 days ago, because that's when the short interest, they reset. So, you know, I guess, you know, now that I know 60% shorted, I don't want to stand in front of this monster, quite frankly. But here we are. We're at 7. We're finding resistance because we get a little bit above 7, a little bit below. You can tell there's shorts initiating or people taking profit possibly off that 6 bounce. But yeah, very interesting look on ZAPP. And I'm willing to bet you it's probably in today's scanner and has been for a while because of its short float, 60%. Not something to sneeze at, guys. What's going on over there, Katina Man? The Katina Man is short Meta at 531, and it just printed the low of day right now as we speak. It got down into 529. Well, that wasn't low of day, but that is very close to low of day. The dude got 529 flat print. So there you go. Shows what I know. Anyway, this one all the way down. We were long Meta at 530. We did well, but it looks like that 20 period came in and said, that's as good as it's going to get for you. And down it goes. Shout out to the Katina Man. That's a 2-banger right there, Adara.
Yeah. So this was a little bit hard. I am down in the day now, and it's because I was not trusting myself nearly enough. And that's the thing you have to learn. I think the thing is, too, is I think I was really in my head about being, make sure you're trading the trend. It's like, Adara, you were fine shorting Tesla on the way up because you trusted yourself and you trusted the book and you scalped. It was when I stopped trusting myself, when I tried to do trades that I thought would, you know, look whatever way, that I got deeply chopped up here in this TSLA. I did lose on this long, and I am conflicted because I realized at a certain point, I was like, I need to get out of this. I was like, we'll get out like flat. We'll get out 253.20s. Wasn't able to. It sunk, and I wasn't able to get out fast enough. But I was really doubting it. I should have been like, Adara, just get out and then switch short. Wasn't quick enough on that. Lost more than I needed to. But I'm honestly more upset with this long that I had earlier at that 254. That 253 long was deeply planned. I liked it. This is like, Adara, you had these bottoming tail candles. And I just wasn't trusting myself enough. So I think I need to go back to leaning on my short bias. I don't think it's great to have biases, but I think if sometimes you can use things in your favor. I clearly could not do longs. I'm not saying like never, you know, as Justin Bieber, I will never say never. But I think right now.
I've seen you go long quite a bit, and I've seen you go long quite effectively. So
I just think that my instinct sometimes, because I want to like seem on trend, that's when I take things I probably shouldn't take, or I know that, you know, not necessarily good for me. So I want to see this Tesla here at that 252 though, because we're trying to break a little bit of a bounce here. Let's see what happens. And I don't want to say like no longs ever. It's just I find that my shorts are a little bit more potent. Let's see how it goes.
Polestar absolutely just got smacked there. Flat bottom break through $1. That's vicious. Vicious. All right, I got to show you guys this because this is not good. PSNY, here it is. That's that flat bottom that we held all dang day, including the IB high and low. And then comes this candle over here at 1250, and Huadunk went the dynamite, 10 pennies, as quickly as you can say Huadunk, and it dropped from $1 to 90 pennies, 90.03 pennies. I don't know how, I hate these 4 decimal places, sub $1, but that's the way it is. Anyway, finding some support there. Now, I should tell you guys that I bought a lottery ticket on this morning. I bought 100 shares of Polestar. It cost me $100, and I'll take it to zero. Because quite frankly, I see these cars all the time on the road. So if I lose $100, I lose $100. I'm good with that, and I'm at peace with it. But it's just like, all right, let's get a lottery ticket. I was telling Adara last week. I told Brendo today. I pulled the trigger at the big desk. I'm long at like 99, so I'm obviously out of the money here. But Polestar is one of the lottery tickets that I've got on, and obviously a tiny position. Costing me a big $100. That doesn't buy you 1.5 shares of Meta, or sorry, Tesla, because Tesla's at 250 now. So yeah, that's the look there. So I got some Polestar this morning, guys, and I'll let it go to zero. Literally, I will not stop out of this position. Yeah, I will. I promise. I will.
Like that.
Yeah. Tesla at break even here. Here we go. 251 and a third is where we closed out on Friday. We're at that right now, 251.50. So the Christmas tree retracement coming in fast and coming in absolutely furiously here on TSLA. Where do we find support if we continue to break down below the Friday closing print? Well, there is this trough from earlier at around 10:30 at that 250 and a third. Let's call it 250. I personally want to play off that 250. The 8 a.m. institutional prints come into 250. It's the $10 level. It's a $15 level. So let's see what we get with TSLA. Does it weasel its way down to $50, 250, or do we get a quick bounce off the closing print? I'm less likely to want to get into anything here until I see a discernible trend, and I will not be shorting Tesla $10 off the high. So we'll see exactly what we get here with TSLA. AAPL also in a bit of, I don't want to call this a consolidation because the higher lows do not allow you to call that a consolidation, but we're obviously, accumulating, if I could say so. I think in front of 277, there does seem to be some local support or resistance at the $0.75, but I'm much more inclined to want to base any trade, whether long or short, off 227. Again, I mentioned this earlier, but I'll mention it again. There is the pre-market bottom area, which was bouncing off 227, and then there is this crest here, which very clearly rejected 227. So we know for a fact initially it was support, now resistance. How we play it depends on what it does once it reaches back that price. But I forgot to tell you guys. You guys got to vote every day, man. If you're not voting, you're not having your say on the afternoon rundown. Get into the chat, solicit your friends, bully them, do what you need to do, have them vote your way. Get into the chat right now and vote for the ticker of your choice using that super easy prompt. I'll vote right now. I'm going to want to vote for, let's see what I did well on today. I'll do Meta. So we're going to go join, and we're going to type in $META, because that's what I want to talk about. I'm sure the Katina is going to want to talk about it too, because he has a banger short on that. And it's more important what he thinks rather than what I think, because he's the one that's going to be doing the analysis on said afternoon rundown Ram. So we'll keep tabs on that. And we shall also tell you about this. Amazon had a really interesting area initially. Well, not initially, but obviously that 200 area is kind of the flat top that we never broke through. But look at the bottom area. This 199.5, 199 and a third. So if we come back up into this general area here where the IB low took us, I may want to short the Amazonian at this level. And it's already having trouble with the 20 exponential on the 5. So Amazon definitely off the lows at that 198 and a third, but also having trouble breaking through and holding above 199. I'm willing to guess it has something to do with this IB low. I don't want to jump into it too quickly. I'd rather wait for that 199 and a third because we hung out there more than we did at this IB low. So packing my pace, but definitely looking short on the zone.
Yeah, this Tesla here bounced 251.20. I should have been more aggressive about that. Didn't get that long. Took a baby long earlier. Took a couple pennies on that. But yeah, we're going to have to wait and see what this Cybertruck does. But I did know, I forgot to mention, I did take 50 pennies on this short. The 250, I needed, like I said, I needed a short to, get back in the swing of things, get back on the saddle. Where did I get, even I don't remember where I got involved in this. Yeah, 250, 250s into what is this, 251. I'm going to look because I don't remember. I got short, 252, 252, got a 250, so please just punch with that trade. Guys, definitely join, exclamation point space, exclamation point join space, $, whatever tickers you're a little fancy. But right now, what tickles our fancy is getting into this lesson. Let's talk about, Elliot, waves. So talk about the 5 waves. Have you ever felt the market move in a way that's predictable, but also dynamic? The Elliott wave theory proposes that these movements follow a specific pattern, and those patterns involve 5 waves. First, we're going to talk about the engine of the trend. Chugga, 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 choo-choo, whatever. Don't know why I did that. Good times. So basically, the first 3 waves, 1, 3, and 5, are the impulse waves. These are going to be the driving forces behind the trend, pushing prices in the desired direction. So the wave 1 is the initial move. It establishes the trend direction. It can be a little bit more volatile. Then you want the wave 3, which is going to be the strongest wave, and it's going to be really important for the type of trading we do. For day trading, it's got these length, and it's got that power to it. It's got that viciousness. What about wave 5? Well, it's going to be the final thrust, that last push here, extending the trend before the period of consolidation. Now, here we have wave 1, 3, and 5 here. It's the ones where we have these pushes further. Wave 5, as you can see, this last kind of wave to the upside, hang 10 there for Elliot waves. Couple different diagrams here. Now, here are some of these impulse waves. You do have a little bit more of these kind of impulsive moves there on these Elliot waves. Now, let's talk about the corrective waves. Those are going to be the consolidative and a little bit more corrective waves. So these are the periods of price retracement that move against the trend, and they provide a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of wiggle room before you see the price resume. So the little pullback waves. Wave 2 is a pullback after wave 1. You typically do not retrace all of wave 1's gains. Then wave 4, you have smaller retracement after wave 3. It's going to be, you have that more powerful wave 3, right? It's going to be the really big push wave. So this is going to be a baby retracement after that big powerful move. It usually ends near the starting point of wave 3. But this is going to be a really simplified view. The waves can vary in terms of size, in terms of time, and there are other rules and complexity within the theory. So let's talk about some of these bullish waves here, right? In a bull market, you've got some of these impulse waves, 1, 3, 5 being the stronger waves, and then your little corrective waves in between here. Then your bear market is going to be the exact same thing here, where you do have these more intense waves for 1, 3, and 5, and the smaller pullback waves of 2 and 4. So the direction does not matter. It's more about the waves. It can go in either directions. So let's get started now that we understand the basics. How do you practice? First, you find a chart. You want to look at historical price movements of the asset. Then you want to identify the trend. Is it up or is it down? Is it bullish or is it more bearish? Because as we discussed, you can play this in either direction here. The waves can go to the upside and then go to the downside. So be aware of both directions. You also want to look out for the 5 waves if you see these trends. Can you find the characteristic of each wave based on our discussion? Let's find out. However, the 5-wave pattern does apply to different time frames, from daily charts to intraday ones. It can be fractal. But the shorter time frames can be more volatile, making wave identification more challenging. Make sure that when you're in these Elliott waves, you're careful not to get rinsed. I thought about that right as I ended. I was like, I cannot not use that. So
that was actually a really good one.
Try not to get rinsed there. Also, Robert Arnold's mentioning costs. So, you know, it can be costly when you get rinsed. So let's take a look at K to the O to the S to the S here. Down 21%. The sell-off is vicious here. KOSS, I don't want to say
6.
A lot of pushbacks. I know too many pushbacks today, Sharif, but the market keeps giving me opportunities with which to push back my chair. The chair is Elliott waving, ebbing and flowing. Woo! Look here. Look at this 1080. Support.
Dang.
Resistance. Now look at this.
Oh, that's good.
Look at this.
That's real good.
Oh my God, and the spread is like 2 cents for KOSS. Sharif, I might go long KOSS.
I like it.
I'm so tempted here, and I would take it into this 1080. So Ramin's trying to egg me on. Ramin's peer pressuring me, saying, do it in my ear.
I hear her, yeah.
You know what, Ramin? I think I might. I think I might just do it. Shout out to Nike, which, how was that one swooshing?
Look, here's the deal.
What?
If you do well on the trade, you don't get a choice, Ram Way. You do well on the trade, she gets half. You do badly on the trade, she's got to cover your loss.
Honestly, I mean, I can't agree. I don't think we're gonna do that deal, but shout out to, she's amazing over there. Woo! Shout out to Ramin. I think we need a book called The Remaining of Life, where we just have all these little Raminisms. I think I would read that. I think it'd be deeply entertaining. Also, because I said just do it with KOSS, look at Nike. Shout out again to Graw for pointing this one out. We're below the 90 MA. You know, Nike and KOSS, I might take both of you. I might take one long, might take one short, take some for the road. Hopefully running here with Nike, no matter the cost.
I think if I was to write a book or any sort of commentary on Ram, or any, Ram sayings that have been said in the past.
There's so many.
The initial one that I think I'd open up my book with is, guess how much my toque cost, my beanie cost. That's the one I'd start off with, because that's the one that's imprinted on my memory. Yeah, I'll never forget that. It was an expensive beanie for those people out there wondering. Yeah, she's laughing up as well. I love Ram. It's moose knuckles, guys.
No wonder it was.
Come on. All right, no, seriously. In all seriousness, though, I want to show the trade that the poor execution that I had on MYO. I tried to take this one short because it was trading below the volume weighted average price. This is my only loser on the day. And look what it did. I'm really happy that I did get out at 375, because funny enough now, we were talking about 375 acting as resistance, and it was. But funny, when it claims that resistance level, it is now using it, obviously, as support. Every single print north of 375, and it's using that to kind of launch back up into 380. Did reject off 392, unsurprising there, because that was a high that we printed at 955, but it looks like we're accumulating for that for rejection. I still have my alert south of that 360 area off which it was bouncing. It didn't print below 360 while I was in it. So if we do break down to that high 359, 358, whatever, in and around there, I will look to get short, as the Katina man did get me shorts for these, so I still can use them until the end of business day. But it's got to set up. Otherwise, I don't want to take it, right? ZAPP, I saw you guys yelling about this one. It did break through VWAP, but I am very unlikely to want to base any breakout trade on ZAPP. It is more of a range to me here. The reason is because it's zigging a little bit above VWAP, zagging a little bit below. That I don't take as a breakout trade, but rather I'd rather base a range trade off it. And so it looks like 7.25 came in. I was in the bathroom, didn't have a resting order, and now it's below 7 again. So if it comes down to 6, I'm going to want all the smoke, no question about it, because that is the bottom end of the range, and showed you that umpteen amount of times on the day. Nice, Adair, good job.
Thank
you. I don't know if you were pumping or
I'm pumping and
wagon,
yeah,
or, I don't know.
it's all of the
above. A bit of both. Oh, okay.
A little bit of zig, a little bit of zag.
A little bit of zig, a little bit of zig. I like it. ANVS as well, Ram. This one, I'm really disappointed in myself because this was an obvious topping tail at 14.5. VWAP came in there. I didn't take it. I didn't have it. I didn't have eyes on it. It's a lot easier to, look at these. A lot harder to execute the trades when you're looking at umpteen amount of other names. So ANVS and ZAPP, both in play. I got to tell you right now, in small cap gapper world, Mayo in play if it breaks down below 360. Nikola really, giving up the ghost here, trying to hold 10.25.
I shorted Tesla.
Bang.
I took like 60 pennies on some of this. Took 30 pennies on, bits and pieces here, bits and bytes. Tesla broke 250. Oh my gosh, okay, if we try this again, I'm gonna short this 250. I should have stayed in the short, but I didn't. Again, gotta trust the scalping instincts. Woulda, coulda, shoulda, you know what I mean? Tesla definitely not wanting me back in that Cybertruck to the short side. I wanna see what we do here at 249.20s. That was kind of the top of that range. Like I said, I am down on the day now, though we're about to make that back with those Tesla shorts. So I think that's the thing, is I got a little bit in my head with those longs, so to take some more shorts there. Pleased as dang punch. Again, I don't think it's great that I'm short biased. I'm not like, yay, short biased, I'm go sports. But I'm just saying, go shorts. Instead of go sports, go shorts. Anyways, I'll stop with the bad puns.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, thank you, I tried. But yeah, the point is with Tesla is I saw this 250-120. I initially was gonna go long, because that was an area that was kind of interesting a little bit. We had a little baby pop, but I said, Adara, wait a little bit on the book. I was seeing lower highs in the book. I said, dare take the short. Ended up taking the short. That did end up working out here. If Tesla is going to keep being spicy here at 249.60, I have no problem taking a scalp short here. Definitely, like I said, trying to use P&L less, mostly just looking at it for reference to see am I up or down of the day. Definitely would love, it's less about the profit and loss, it's more about the progress and the learning here. So shout out to that. Also shout out to Tesla, which is continuing to reject at this 249.60. I'm like, hey, Tesla, what you want? You want more? You want me to go again? You want me to go again, Tesla? Okay. Okay, Tesla, I'll go again. I don't think Tesla wants me in this year's Cybertruck, did not get me filled. And like I said, I am cognizant of any potential bounce here at 249.20s, because that was sort of the top there of that previous range. But I mean, Tesla clearly does not give a you-know-what, as Sharif will sometimes say. It broke below. I don't want to get short 249s. That to me is a bit of a straw that broke the camel's back, because I'm like, that still could be level. I want to watch this a couple times. Looks like we're trying to hold 249s now. I'll then go back to watching that 249.60. Fine by me. Please just punch. Just trying to trust my instincts in the book. I do feel proud of the instincts that I have in the book. I'm happy with that. It's something I want to continue developing. So if I see stuff I don't like, there's no reason for me to take trades that don't make sense. But with that in mind, I think these shorts in Tesla, for now, continue to make sense. Let's get lower on this Cybertruck. I want to see again what we do at 249.60s, but we've made lower highs in the book. We went from 60s to 48s, so let's watch out your Cybertruck. I may get back in there. Take you back to this here downside. When Lambo's saying, I wish stock moved as fast as crypto back in the day. Now, even crypto moves like stocks. Let's take a look at IBIT with that in mind, because I saw that comment and I was like, we did have a bit of a drop in IBIT earlier. I've been trying to make, oh, there we are on the Tune In Daily. Look at that mobile screen. I love that. And that blue blazer. I remember that, yeah. We have these higher lows here and a bit of a flat top here in IBIT. Definitely rejecting a little bit for whatever reason at 31.90s, but yeah, let's see what we do here. 32, definitely a bit of an area for IBIT as well. So slightly higher lows, but lower highs here for IBIT. Maybe getting a bit consolidative, perhaps, may chance. Nvidia, okay, Nvidia rejecting here at that 128.60. That was an area I liked earlier. If we break below 40s, I'll take it short. I like that 40s level earlier, so let's see what kind of chop and churn we get in Nvidia. Tesla reclaiming 250. Will it continue reclaim 250? We'll break back below. Find out. We'll find out whenever it does it. I was gonna, we'll see what happens. But also make sure if you're interested in Tesla, if you're interested in Nvidia, whatever ticker you like, we believe in a democratic system. So go in there, have your vote, make your voice heard. Do you want to hear Sean? Do you want to hear Obi talk about these stocks? Then vote. And join, exclamation point, join space, $, Meta, Tesla. I don't know. You guys know tickers. Put it in there. Shout out to Bears vs. Bulls for everything you do. Yeah. One of the many things that Bears vs. Bulls does is make sure everyone submits their tickers correctly. So, like the polling agent when you go to vote. So, shout out to Bears vs. Bulls. Shout out to Tesla. Tesla, you want to bounce? I'll take you long. I know I just had a whole lament about how I can't do longs, but if one presents itself, I do think I want to take an opportunity here. What opportunities are you looking at?
I'm looking at Dell for everyone because they're talking about it in the chat, and they're absolutely accurate in talking about it. This printing high day, 145, 38 or 40s essentially is the high. We certainly had a whole lot of resistance at that $0.75 to $0.50 level, but there goes Dell breaking decidedly through 145 and coming into that 145.5. I don't have resistance levels around here, guys, until we get into that. Well, I'm not going to use a topping tail from the third, but the general area around there is 148. I'd say 148 would be a reasonable level to look for resistance. It's also the closing prints on both these candles here from the third. It is also still $2 and a third from where we're currently trading at. 145.65 is the high. I'm talking about 148. So sorry, $2 and a third from that $148 level. With respect to some of the indicators here, I mean, you just got a MACD crossover on the 15, and nothing really that I want to put too much stock in. This is more of a price action trade than anything else. Keep your eye on it. I don't have trades on Dell at the moment. Too spready for me, and I'll save all my spready trades for Meta. We'll keep an eye on that. MYO right back into those highs again. Maybe I should have taken that opportunity, even if I had shorts, to get long on that 375 dip, because it looks like it really gave me that opportunity there with very clear higher lows and higher highs forming here, especially holding off the 10 exponential on the 5. MYO, decent. Tried to short this, lost on it, 33.5% in the clear on this name. But ANVS, this one is the one I'm really disappointed. I did not have that trade at 1450. It may give you that opportunity again for 1450. I don't know how much I like it the second and third time around. The reason is because you're getting lower highs forming for a flat bottom break possibly on that. So your initial high off which you're working 17 1/3, right? And then you have this candle over here at 1245 that came into 15 2/3, and then this general area 15 1/4 rejection. So sequentially lower highs with that same kind of flat bottom at 14.5 that we've been holding up essentially since that double bottom at 1. That level printed at the IB high there at 10.05 and 10.10, and it flipped and acted as support. So ANVS, great, and you could say, well, Sharif, why don't you sit at VWAP at that 1450 to get a dip trade on this one? It's only about 40 pennies away. You can give it, maybe like 10, 20, 30 pennies here to make a decent, $1.25, just based on this range over here. Well, just because of the higher lows and the fact that, this is the second time around to touch, I'm going to be a little bit hesitant on ANVS because these ones are around for a good time, not a long time, right? We've been talking about that. But MYO is just continuing to curl up. I did not have the right read on this when I tried to short it. We're on our way possibly back into the high day at 392. It's printing 386 right now. And I got to tell you, even though the volume is a little bit light on MYO, the spread held up at times. It was as wide as 3 pennies, but most of the time it was between 2 and 1. So you won't get cut up too much trying to trade this one, at least when I was trading it. Hope that you guys don't get cut up trading it, obviously. But yeah, that's really my look for the small cap gappers. Obviously, the Mag 7, a little zig is a little zag like we've been talking about here. Nvidia accumulating as it had earlier at the volume weighted average price. That's 4 5-minute candles here that have closed at the volume weighted average price, touched it or reject. That's at 128 2/3, awfully close to 128 3/4. But this looks interesting here on NVDA. If you wanted a little bit of a guess, this is just a guess. I think Nvidia probably ends up closing a little bit higher than where we are now and probably breaks above that 129 over here. Well, we've got higher lows to kind of, help guide the possible direction. We're also positive on the day, 2 1/3. The chips are all green on my watch list. So if I had to guess, I'm thinking Nvidia probably does break and hold above VWAP. We'll have to wait and see. 129, 129 1/4, an area top there. It's above VWAP right now. First time since 1205, so it's 130 right now. Finally getting the break above the volume weighted average price. Still below 129, but good recovery there for Nvidia and a decent look, no question about that, for chips on the day. Tesla, you saw Adara take multiple shorts on this name. Fantastic trades today for Adara off TSLA. But here we go, finding its bottom at 250, bottoming tail. This is a hammer candle, okay? But let's keep an eye to see if it's able to claim VWAP. VWAP is at a little bit below 253, maybe in the mid 80s or so, but a decent 2 candles over here. The 120 candle and that 125 candle awfully bullish. Let's see if it can continue the strength. The dead one has been awfully bamboozling, and I got to tell you why. Because it kept rejecting off $227. We got the initial rejection over here at 1145. We got it again at 1255, and then we got an inverse hammer candle at 110, all of which were accumulating for a 227 touch. But even though we've rejected off 227 multiple times, and again, it's a pre-market low as well, so support becomes resistance, look at the higher lows that AAPL has been putting in. So I feel like it may be accumulating for maybe a power hour break through that 227. And I gotta tell you, I'm very surprised that Apple was able to retrace. I thought we were definitely gonna touch 220 or something, have a red day after multiple green days, and take its breath. Apparently not. Maybe it will. We'll see. So yeah, keeping an eye on the Mag 7, but it's really Nvidia here that looks the most bullish of the bunch, breaking through the volume weighted average price, but I'm still not going to take a trade on it. That's until it can break above 129 1/4 on a closing basis, Adair.
Yeah, I got long Tesla here. I had that 250 long, which was pretty sweet. Definitely got out of it arguably a bit early, but for my scalp purposes, I was okay with that. Had to get out of this long. I was trying to get a push above that 252. Alas, that is not what we ended up 250 doing over there. So yeah, a little bit high, a little bit low, basically flat on the day for myself right now. And that's why I've been trying to hide the P&L, because I just think, not mentally necessary. Also, these trades made me realize I go always getting so caught up in like the directional elements. I don't think the direction matters as much as why am I taking the trade? Am I trusting my read? Am I trusting what I'm seeing? Why these trades didn't work out, it had nothing to do with them being longs, although my dramatic self, that was what I said. No, what the issue was is I wasn't trusting my read on the book, and I should have been. I was caught up in what seemed more trendish, what seemed more like what the look should have been and not what it actually was, not what I actually trusted, not what I actually believed in. So that is an L on my part, but as 21 Savage says, take less L's, make more M's. Also, it was funny because I was listening to you when you said, when you were saying the small caps are here for a good time, not a long time. Yeah. Have you noticed there are a lot of them that are repeat runners lately?
Oh yeah.
Because I feel like lately, they're really trying to challenge us on that. They're like, oh, you got dead one wrong, that you can't say that anymore. Oh, here for a good time, not a long time, can't say that anymore either.
Yeah, but I don't think that challenges what we're saying at all, because they could be a multi-day runner, and then, that kind of gives you the crest, a couple of good days, 3-4 good days, and you have 3-4 bad days, and then right back into lows it goes. And that's what we see on a lot of these charts.
You're right.
When we zoom out, right, we do our daily look to see if they're former runners before. Oftentimes we see those peaks and peaks, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's a good point.
So even though, is it a hard, fast rule? No. There's going to be a small cap gapper that does well, right? Like, there's going to be.
No, but I appreciate that. Thank you for the perspective on that. That's a good way of looking at it. No, I agree. But yeah, I just thought it was interesting. Also, Meta, happy I didn't take this short. Initially, I was interested in that short of Meta because we did have we were trying to form a topping tail candle here, 129.90s. Very happy I did not get involved in Mr. Spreada because Meta then bounced here off the 90 EMA. I have to say, spread on this, not bad right now, though. It's about like 8 to 10 pennies. If we can get back below the 90 EMA decisively, I have no qualms about taking this short into, actually, sorry, I have one qualm. My qualm is that 529 could be a bit of a double bottom. So that's my singular qualm. But Meta, if you really can't hold 530, I will take you short. I don't want all the smoke because, you know, I don't have great Zuckerberg with this name. But I want to be, I would like a little bit of the smoke. The Piper, I do not follow the sticky note. I take my own kind of trades because I do, you know, we all have our own little sticky notes. I have my own that I call tickers to look at. It's this document. I write levels I like. I write little notes to myself. I write like quotes I'll see from, you know, Shaw and Neil, Obi Sharif, all that. Just like little things I find interesting to, you know, keep stuff in mind. So that is my version of the sticky note. I do not post. It's just a Google document. But Tesla, if you keep projecting 252, I will stick to trading this name. No, that's something I really find interesting here. We're below that 90 EMA. We're making these lower highs in the book here. I'm going to try to get 70s on this. If we break below, if we break above 252, I will have to exit pursued by a bear, or in this case, exit pursued by a bull. Shout out to Shakespeare. We can make Shakespeare references over here. Why not?
Why not?
But yeah, let's get involved here. Let's see what we have. Now it looks like we're trying to hold that area I got in as support on the book, question mark. I mean, we call it stressful for a reason, right? You got to have fun. You got to stay nimble. And you got to get involved in stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at Nvidia, guys. Here we go with 129. And there's size at 129. There's a decent amount. There was about, I don't want to say 1,000, a little bit less than 1,000. It's gone now, though. So interesting that they, I don't know, I don't want to say they pulled the order because we're a little bit, we got to get a little bit closer for me to see the full picture. Right now we're printing 94s, we were printing 97s, but keeping an eye on 129 because we did peak out there. So that's where the last little crest is. It's above 129 though. So yeah, it's sometimes it's harder to gauge. We got into 16s, I think the high there was 19. So generally a 129 rejection, right? But we have these higher lows for possible flat tops. So you may be able to get a scalp on it right now. Great, you take a short at 129, it comes down into 128.75, you print a quarter buck. Great, fantastic. All right, let's have a look now and see what we're getting here. Yeah, so there's about 500 lots, maybe a little bit more, 600 lots or so at 29. I would say there's likely an iceberg there because none of the size is getting eaten up. It's all staying there on the book. EdgeX, New York book, NASDAQ, they're all staying the same. Nothing's getting cleared. And I'm looking at the tape, and rarely were we printing double O's. The double O's are few and far between. They're mostly 99s, 99.5 mid prints, 98s. Here we go. So it's gonna break. Wow, that size came up big there. There we go on the NSB and the NSDQ. Those were all about 250 lots each. They all got eaten up down to 100, but they keep adding on. There's definitely an iceberg at 129. Will not be convinced different. Do we break it though? Well, not yet. We won't. So very interesting accumulation here on NVDA at the 129 level. If I had to guess, I think this breaks. I think the higher lows. I think that the fact that the chips are monstrous on the day, this is probably going to break. Here we go again with 129. And again, we're not getting any prints north of the whole dollar. And there's just not enough size there to warrant the price stagnating at that point. So most certainly we have an iceberg order there. And it's still not printing. Look at the tape just churn through orders there. And still an area print above the whole dollar there. So here we go again. Here comes the accumulation at 129. Oh, that's got eaten up big. Where I see all the size just gets taken off, but it still doesn't move. So we'll have to see how long this iceberg order is able to stave off this market from breaking the whole dollar. But yeah, lots and chop and churn on NVDA right now as it moves into 129, excuse me, and approaches 130. I did not expect this type of seller to sit at the whole dollar the way that they are, based on the fact that we did break it at around that 12 o'clock hour. And here we go again with 129. And again, an area print above that $29 level. So continue to watch to see if this one can get broken. But if I just had to guess, and that's all that it is, I think we break it, Adair.
Yeah, I mean, Certainly interesting there on that Nvidia. I was looking at that one as well. Yeah, you're right. Like there's so much little chop and turn. I think we are definitely building to something. Tesla, I got out of the short here, tried to flip long. Tesla was like, no, Adair, you're not invited in this Cybertruck. I was like, okay, apologies. But as Sharif said, this is a level I've also been mentioning all day. I like that 253. What do we do at 253? Just a flat top break. Then it was also VWAP. We tried to hold that VWAP. We ended up falling below here. So I want to see what we do here on TSLA. Instead of rushing into a long here, I'd rather wait and see what we do at this VWAP area and that 253 for a potential short. That is definitely where I would like more of the smoke. Now, there's something that's interesting here. We had, what was Jesse Munson saying FFIE. I know, but it's squeezing some shorts. So let's see what the future looks like in Faraday. Oh, thank you, Jesse Munson. I really appreciate you mentioning this one for us. Higher lows for sure. But we had some lower highs. Then we had a massive push up. We just made new high of days on Faraday around that 41 penny level. Thank you very much, Jesse Munson. That's what I love about this chat is everyone's looking at different stuff. They'll give us opportunities to look at different things. Oh, thank you, Ludi Vine in the chat. Shout out to you. Hope you are having a great day. Also, look at this 39.40 area. We had a couple tops here. Then we had this 39, 40, 50, 60. Tried to bounce here off of that 9 EMA. So that's a great look here for Faraday future. Future could be bright here for Faraday. And thanks again to Jesse Munson for mentioning this one. Tesla below the below VWAP here, predicting 252.40s. No interest in rushing into the short because Tesla likes to do Tesla things. But I mean, wow, am I very intrigued by the possibility of a short here on TSLA. I'm so intrigued. We're going to be watching this, but okay. If we can't reclaim these 30s here, this is where I go short. So watching, waiting, plotting, scheming, getting money, as Drake said on Furthest Thing. Right, Boeing. Gaurav mentioned this one in the chat, so I wanted to bring this up. Boeing is a great look here. I would love to see what we do at this 185.50 because look at that little top and turn we had before falling a little bit lower here. Then the plane rising after a bit of turbulence, trying to fly higher here. Can we reach that 185.50? I'd love to see what we do here. That'd be an interesting look. Also, AMD, apparently we've got Compass RX saying AMD short. Let's take a look at this. AMD, yeah, I mean, definitely it looks like we struggled a little bit with that 177 area. Definitely, if you took that short, about 20 pennies in the money there. Shout out to you, Compass RX, as Sharif always says to me, hope you print. I'll be looking at my Tesla.
All right, we took Nvidia along at 02s, just printed there at 17s. Let's see if this can hold that 129 whole dollar. I got it on the second attempt, so we'll have to wait and see here. NVDA finally breaking through 129, but for how long? So I'm going to try to take a little bit of a shot on this one, and I think anything in the mid-80s is going to get me out, so we'll risk a little bit on this to see if we can hold this 129 level. We saw the huge seller in front of 129. It got broken, and then I got to tell you, there was another seller hidden at 14s, kind of random, right? But we did break through that. We did top up into about 20s, but we're gonna have to hold 128 mid-80s for me to stay in this trade. We're now down into the 128 high 90s, right above 129 we go. So a little zig, and I'll be honest with you, even though I think, you know, this one may trend on the day, we do have resistance at this level. Because of the print that we got at noon. And this is what I'm talking about over here. This is what I'm looking at on the side chart. So NVDA does come into that level in the afternoons, and the highest that could print there on this candle was 19s. There we go, right back down to 90s. Thankful that I was able to take out everything, or not everything, a beak wetter there, because I do get stopped out for the remaining amount as it does break down again below 129. So we'll see what it does at VWAP here too, because it also had issues with VWAP. So I could be persuaded to get in again, possibly at 69s or 70s, because we had a nice little consolidation area there on NVDA. But I'm going to pack my patience with this one because I'm seeing some topping tail candles both come in on the future as well as Nvidia and even Apple, because Apple also did the same thing Nvidia did there, was break through 227, and then you got an immediate retracement. So a little bamboozlement on said markets, but absolutely will play whatever hands are dealt. And here we go. Now we're at VWAP on Nvidia. So what I was looking for has come in. Now, do we take the long here? Well, last time around, we didn't break VWAP. Oh, actually, what am I saying? Last time around, we did the exact same thing. We broke the volume-weighted average price at around noon, and then we ended up tanking about, let's see, how much there? $1 off VWAP. So I don't know. I don't know if I like this. I don't know personally if I like this here. So we're going to have to wait and see if I can get a little bit of a better look here on NVDA now that it's kind of done its topping tail through 129. That's not what you want to see. I mean, if you're trend trading, this is not the bamboozlement you want to see. Yeah, coming through that level right into a local area crest and then reject again. So, yeah, I'll pack my patience on this one and see what other opportunities there are. And as I look, the chart and right next to it, Tesla, TSLA also at the volume-weighted average price. And most notably, this area here at 253, we talked about this area being a local top. So that's another interesting look too. Possible rejection off this level. Keep that in mind. But there's about 5 minutes left for you guys to vote every day on the afternoon rundown. The big kahunas take charge, and they look at the tickers that you most voted for on the midday show, I guess, How to Trade show. So go into the chat right now, have your say every day, use the prompt as shown on the screen. It's !join, and then space and the word $. And then the $, and then the ticker of your choice there. Make sure to get your vote in. You have about 5 minutes left. Voting cuts off right at 1:50 every day, Adara. All right, before we send it back to Adara, I just wanted to mention, huge topping tail candle on Apple here. The umpteenth amount of topping tail that we've seen into 227. Ironically enough, though, the higher low situation is still intact. So I don't want to take this short because it's still continuing to get bought up on every successive drop. It just can't seem to stay above 227.
Yeah, so Tesla. So I took that short at the 252. Now I got involved early. I know I said I wanted 253s, but I realized it was like we were kind of we had a bit of a struggle there with where VWAP was at the time, which was around 252.73. So I said, Adara, attempt this short, trust yourself. I did get involved, and I was like, if we break decisively above 253, get out. Guess what we did? We peak our little head above 253, then we come right back down. I added to the position 252.80s. Will it be perfect? No. Like I said, I am down in the day right now, unfortunately, just due to some Tesla choices, but it's because I didn't trust myself, and that's why you really got to trust yourself. In this case, I feel good about the short. I mean, you always want to have some qualms in Tesla, but I don't have any qualms right now for the most part. Trying to be confident, trying to find trades that I'm comfortable in, couple pennies in the money here. I do want to be cognizant of the way we bounced here, that 252.20s, so that's where we're going to be taking out some of this position, because I do have not a huge position, but I have enough to, a couple shares we can get in there, here and there. So please just punch with that. Tesla, though, weirdly finding some support at 252.63. I want to be cognizant of that. If we break below that 252.60s, that's going to be definitely upping that confidence a little bit in here. AR says, lock in, Adara. Shout out to you, AR. Definitely locked in, ready to make these trades. We broke a little bit lower here. Let's get going. Sean clapping here as well, so shout out to that. Appreciate that. Yeah, I know the claps are a little bit aggressive, but sometimes you got to get a little bit aggressive. Tesla can't break about 37s here. You know what I'll take out? We're going to take out what part? Yeah, this is like a good 60% of the position. We're kind of bouncing off VWAP a little bit. I do want to be aware of that. I want to keep my last 40% in to see what we do here at this 9 EMA. Man, if we could break lower, you know what I'll be? I'll be pleased as punch. So really happy with this. This is about having confidence sometimes. It's like, we could have bounced off VWAP. We could have bounced off that 253, but I wasn't seeing anything that suggested that at the time, which is why I decided to take the short. Please just punch that I did. Now, however, we are trying to curl higher. We did make a higher low here. Like I said, initially we were rejecting off of that 252.20s. When we start bouncing off 252.30s, I said, Dara, get out there. Got out 252.50s. I have to say I'm very proud of what I did here with this TSLA. But now, if Tesla wants to break even lower, I'll take another scalp short. Tesla, I'm qualmless. No, I have some qualms because it's Tesla, but generally, I do not have any qualms. Trying to get excited here, getting involved. Should have took a lead. It was a Tesla short, 253.30. Yeah, that's actually a really good level for the short. I was just trying to scalp and find some levels, but I do definitely want to shout out Khalid there with that awesome level there for the shorts. Morals, I love that name. Nvidia trying 129 again. Yeah, I want to shout out the mustachioed man to my right for calling 129. This 129 spicy. Oof, this is a great look. Because like we're literally bouncing off that previous area that we rejected off at VWAP. You know what that is? Confluence. You know, oh boy. Also, that reminds me, I was actually listening to a song this weekend. Shout out to my new favorite rapper from Texas for some reason, Big X the Plug. But he's a song called Boy, but the sample that he was kept going, oh boy. So I was literally thinking about that today. So shout out to such a jam. Also shout out to, you know, oh boy, Nvidia. This could be a great look there. Tesla, what are you up to? Tesla trying to bounce here off 250, 230. So could have a little bit of a range here, a little bit of chop and churn. But I do want all the smoke. Got it. When you fall, when the market kicks you down, you got to get back up.
An awfully weak here as it just made the first lower low on the 5 in a bit here. And this is what I'm talking about. So prior to that, this trend had been intact of higher low, higher low, higher low. Now we're starting to curl down a little bit over here. Let me just move this horizontal trend line so I can extend this diagonal trend line. Let's see exactly what we get here, because the dead one could be a short here after multiple rejections off 227, finally looking like it is giving up a little bit here with now 3 red candles on the 5-minute look. That is the worst we've had since 1150. 1150, we had 3 5-minute candles close red, and we retraced off 227 all the way down to 225 3/4. So looking at this one, don't want to jump in too quickly here, but know that last time we got 3 in a row, it did retrace a little bit. Ironically enough, it's still in Greensville, above that 226 1/3 at 226 1/2. So we'll keep an eye on TSLA. I love that Nvidia 129 call out at Derek, because I was able to take a quick scalp on that bad boy. We got in at 75s, covered at 92, super quick. But look at it come all the way back down. And this is an interesting area over here, 128.60. This is where we consolidated between 40 and 60 for the better part of, let's say, half an hour or so, from around 105 till around 128. So yeah, a little bit less than half an hour. Getting a bit of a bump right now, kind of to be expected. There was a lot of chop and churn at this 128 2/3, 128 1/2 area on NVDA on the day. It's still up 2.25%. So I'm gonna keep my side chart up here, pack my patience, and see what else is moving. Everything headed to the downside here, most of them anyway, in Mag 7 world. You're getting kind of an obvious pattern between some of these names, which is they're all kind of rounded toppy a little bit here. So we'll keep an eye on all of these. Let's flip back to some of the small cap gappers we've been watching. So it looks as if VRPX, the #1 gap scanner on the day, or the #1 gapper on the day on my scanner, is coming into that $1 area. So that's a trade to be had in and of itself. We know that $1 area is both an interesting trade from the south and the north side. We'll have to see how this resolves, but the pre-market highs all came into that 94 3/4 penny area, which is interesting because the IB high takes us into that 104, and 104 held as a level of support multiple times today. But below 104 is this 94 and change. And we're very close to that level. We're printing 99s, 98s a little bit. So if we get into that 94, I definitely want to see if we find a buyer or a buyer steps up in and around that area. It's going to be more like 95 rather than 94. It's towards the higher end of the 94-cent area. We're not far away, about 4 pennies, 3 pennies away from that right now on VRPX. In case you forgot, let me give you the details on this one more time. It's a very small market cap. It's 2.6 million. It's done 146 million shares on the day, and the float is 2.4 million shares. So very small. Let's find out if it has a notable short float here by using trade ideas. And you can get this exact software right here that you see in front of you by using TraderTV20 on their website for 20% off. Believe it or not, TraderTV20 gets you 20% off. Right? A little bit on the nose, but it's good. I think they want that. VRPX, Adara, only 1.17% of the 2.4 million shares are shorted. So definitely nothing really to look for in terms of a short squeeze there. But this 94 penny area has my attention. No question about it on VR. Is it VR? VRPX. So we'll keep tabs on that quickly. Let's just look quick at the Mag 7 names. Yeah, still kind of in the same holding pattern here. What's your look?
Yeah, so Tesla, I was trying to take that long here. We were holding that 250, what was it, 252, like 30s. I tried along, realized that wasn't working. We broke below 252.20s. I got out and then tried to flip to the short. Definitely should have gotten out of the short early. And this is my issue, is I don't trust myself enough, and I think it comes from, we talk about fear and greed. I would argue probably part of it does come from a place of greed. Like, you're like, oh, I want all that smoke. I want more profits. Like, sometimes you just have to acknowledge you do not know any better than the markets. If you're seeing something in the book, you've got to trust that. With that in mind, we're making some distinctly higher moves here, so I got to get out of this. Come on, Tesla, let me out. Hello? Okay, that's cool. Tesla locking me in that Cybertruck, but now I am out there. This has been such a fun day. Up, down, all around.
Sorry, can I just comment on this one quick? Because everyone's yelling about this. SHPW. All right, I didn't have eyes on this one because 55 pennies, and I filtered them out south of 85. But there you go. This one is really going here, guys. The high a day right now, I believe, is 65 pennies. Let me just confirm that super quick here by typing SHPW. Sorry to interrupt it there. Yeah, it's up 192, 194% now. It's very close to day high, 65 pennies, printing 61. Great move up. It looks like it was a midday gapper there. The big move came in at 125, or that's when we broke through VWAP. But the volume, you can see, really coming in aggressively right 5 minutes before that half past the hour print. Let me give you the details on why this is moving. The name of this company is Shapeways Holdings. What the hell is this? Why? I don't have anything on this. Okay, so
I didn't find anything either.
Yeah, Adair doesn't have anything. I don't have anything. I'll give you the details on it, though. About a $4 million market cap with that big pump up there that we got. 50 million shares traded today, and the float on it, about 6 million shares. Let's find out if it has a decent short float here. This is not Schwab, by the way. Very similar ticker to Schwab, SHPW. No, negligible short float, 0.59 of the 6 million or so shares is shorted. I'm wondering if this is moving in sympathy with anything. What does this company do? Digital manufacturing company offers customers end-to-end digital manufacturing platform. All right, whatever, man. But I don't have news on it. It's up big. It's doing a whole lot of volume. Trade this obviously with a healthy dose of skepticism. But if it's holding up technically, it's holding up technically, Adair.
Yeah, that's a good point, right? Sometimes these things, you cannot. The market's going to do what it's going to do.
Exactly.
You got to be aware of that, and you got to just figure out what works for you, make trades that make sense. Yeah, today, don't ever want to take anything else. I am, Tesla and I were on a little bit of a roller coaster, was up on the day, now I am down on the day. And I think the thing that I've really learned from today is the trades that I didn't do as well as were the ones where I wasn't trusting myself. I was just going against my own instincts. That's an issue. The trades that are making more sense are the ones that I'm really believing in. I'm not just believing in to believe in them. I'm believing them because there's stuff in the book that's confirming what I'm thinking. There's things in the tape that are confirming what I'm thinking. That is the type of trading I need to do more of. And I need to worry less about how I feel the trend looks or how I feel it comes across. If I have some kind of impetus for the trade, I must trust that impetus or I hate the plural of this, the impetuses for the trade.
It's not impeti?
It's not impeti. Remember we had this and it wasn't impeti. That being said, Tesla's doing something deeply fascinating here. We're kind of getting a little bit chop and churny. We did make a lower high on the book here. Initially, we got 252.70s. Could not do that in the last time. But we are holding that 252.20 quite nicely. This could be a little baby long. Not sure if I want to take it heading into the close, but I think definitely I need to be a lot scalpier and be a lot more trusting of my instincts. Those are the things I've learned today. Happy I'm hiding the P&L for the most part. I need to be hiding it more. That is for sure. But yeah, definitely not a profitable way to start the week, but you can just keep going. There's always other days and there's always new things to learn.
All right, guys. I hope everybody got in their votes because voting is now closed. The rundown starts in about 3 minutes. If you didn't vote today, make sure that you know the code to vote tomorrow. Every day on the afternoon rundown, the big kahuna is usually Neil and Sean. We'll look at the tickers as selected by you guys. The top 5 make it in. So go in and solicit your friends to vote your way. Otherwise, you will not have your say. And with that, I shall throw it over to Adara.
I didn't even realize it was already 1:58. Time flies. Thank you so much, Sherry, for preparing the lesson there for that awesome spiel about voting campaign. Get your vote out there. Get your voice heard. Tesla weirdly bouncing at 252 for reasons. I don't need to know why. I just need to know that is why the price actually is shooting to to work out in whatever way, but with these lower highs and the fact that we're below VWAP and the fact I am no longer, I don't trade past the midday, I'm gonna have to stay out of this. But this is quite an interesting look here for that Cybertruck. NVDA says morals. Oh, Nvidia trying to push above that 129 that Shreve identified. Let's see what we do here. 129, can you do something for me? Sean, are you long Nvidia? Can I guess the price? Oh, you already said $2, so 127. Nice. 127.20. So shout out to Sean, who is just 15 pennies away from being part of the $2 club. So there we go. He had his confidence, and he got involved, and he made it work. So shout out to you. Ike Anderson saying Tesla going down. I think Tesla, if it breaks below 252, that's when that thing decisively breaks below 252. That's when things will get really spicy to me, to the downside, because that level, for whatever reason, we popped below it, then we came right back up with the viciousness. So definitely things to try. What an exciting day it's been on these markets. We have just 30 seconds left. Story Intel, says Warren. Let's see what the Intel we have in Intel right now. Yeah, Intel definitely trying to break below this 90 MA here. The level to me that's really interesting on this is this kind of chop and churn range we had at 3360 to 3340. That 3360, if we come back down and bounce, that could be spicy. But it looks like we might be bouncing at 3370s. But right now, we're going to bounce over to the big kahunas and Sharif in just a moment here. Hope you guys had an awesome start to the week there. Cannot wait to see what the rest of this week has to unfold. That's what's great about the markets. Gives you a little bit of excitement, a little bit of spice every single day. Right now, though, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Same bad time, same bad channel. Let's check in with Sharif with the green screen.
Welcome to the afternoon rundown, the show where you select what we talk about every day. We got, I was about to say Neil, but we have Obi and